Good morning. Hello, Cooterville. Welcome back and welcome in. Thanks for being here today. If you guys could hit the like button for me, it really helps getting this shit out into the algorithm because everybody needs to see it. Hey, Vivian P. Good to see you. Thank you, Jammers, and all the other moderators. Sin, thank you for being here. Idiot Win, did you notice in Christina's last TikTok, she puts on her metas and the now you got caught part? Yes, I did. Good morning, Amberly. Good morning, Flobo. Your big dog is in surgery. Oh, hope everything turns out okay. Good morning, Pearl. There's Robat. She's got Grayson. I love it. Hello, Christyle. Good to see you guys. We got a lot of updates to go over today. We've got some major shit happening with Wowen and her family. And this shit might just end up on Prime Crime. I'm just saying. There is some crazy shit going on. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about today
on Prime Crime
is a response that someone who got a C&D that their lawyer sent to what's his name? Daston Doe. Good morning, crazy. Hey, Cramit. Favorite bitch mods and cooters. Absolutely. Hey, Amy Lynn. I think we had someone. Hold on. Oh, we had a subscriber. Okay. I thought we had a new member. I didn't want to miss nobody. So did you guys watch Kresha last night after I redirected you from the Summer Wells live? Kresha is killing it. Kresha's crushing it. Hey, Florida girl. There's a lot of Florida people in here. Sneaky Suspicion, good morning. So I'm on cup number 3. What cup are you on? Mystic Firefly, hello. Salma Blue. You like the leaves? We'll change it up after Thanksgiving to our Christmas theme. You watched her this morning, Belinda? I love to see her growth as well. And her confidence in what she's talking about, right? She's not being told she's nuts. She's not being gaslit and all that, which is really nice to see. Hello from England, Nicole. Nicola. Ricola. 3's your limit? Yeah, that's about my limit too, Flo. All right, so let's get into it. We've got from Reddit. This is from the Hidden True Crime Chat. If you guys aren't subbed up to this, I mean, if you don't want to sub up to it, I'll follow it for you. But if you want to sub up to it, it is the Hidden True Crime Chat on Reddit. It's not a big secret. All of this stuff, these amazing people are putting this shit out. So this is November 17th. Let's just get right into it. Third cup of coffee, you'd be shitting, Emmy Joe? It has the laxative effect on my little sis. Coffee and cigarette, they say. You're making some now, Galen? I'll take a refill. Okay, let's get into it. This is a response from an attorney named Mark Randazza. Enter Mark Randazza into the story. So this is from the Randazza Law Group, licensed in Arizona, California, Florida, Massachusetts, and Nevada. And it says to Andrew G. Dice. Dice at dicelaw.com. This is in response to cease and desist letter on behalf of Lauren Matthias, notice of noncompliance. Dear Attorney Deese, this firm has the honor and privilege of representing blank. We are in receipt of your cease and desist letter on behalf of Lauren Matthias. This letter provides no specifics about what blank allegedly did. Is it your practice to send demand letters that don't contain a single factual allegation? This seems pretty ineffective. Is my client coming to your client's home? Is my client in the house now? Can you show me on a doll where my client touched you? I mean, what even is this? Is this a mass mailing you just sent to everyone? Did my client accidentally fill out an index card at a timeshare presentation and he wins a free demand letter? This is fucking great. You request that blank cease and desist from any continued harassment and dissemination of altered, AI generated, or private messages, which you attribute to Miss Matthias, which you claim violates Florida's wiretapping law. You also claim that this is unspecified conduct, constitutes stalking or harassment under Florida statute, blah, blah, blah. Mama Bear, thank you for becoming a cooter. Thank you for joining today. I do not find any record of you being a member of the Florida Bar. Accordingly, it is probably an honest mistake that you have misrepresented Florida law. He says, but I don't know. He says, I don't know, but I don't know. Florida law isn't that hard. You really whiffed it on Florida statute 934.03. This statute prohibits the inception of communications or disclosure of use of unlawfully intercepted communications, knowing they were unlawfully intercepted. Again, I don't know what the facts are here since you didn't provide any. But here's some good news. You don't have to provide any facts in order for me to extrapolate that the law just doesn't apply. Isn't that cool? Watch this. This guy practices in Florida. If I ever need a lawyer, I'm calling this guy. I see nothing in your letter suggesting that blank or anyone else intercepted any communication by your client, by anyone else, nor any discussion of any fulfillment of the requisite mens rea. I don't know what that means. It is kind of weird how you could think altered or AI generated messages that purport to be from your client could possibly have been intercepted, as your client necessarily would not have been a participant in such communications. So without even knowing what facts your client is reporting to you, or you relied on in making this demand, I can tell you that this statute just can't possibly apply. That leaves the claims of stalking and harassment. Again, there's no information for me to go on, just an assertion that blank is harassing your client. I am left to guess as to the method of this harassment. Florida statute 784.048 defines harass as to, quote, engage in a course of conduct directed at a specific person which causes substantial emotional distress to that person and serves no legitimate purpose, with, quote, course of conduct defined as, quote, a pattern of conduct composed of a series of acts over a period of time, however short, which evidences a continuity of purpose. The federal stalking statute you cite is similar. So look, maybe your client has some legitimate beef. If she does, then you kind of need to tell us what it is. Until then, I guess you can just keep sending letters that say, hey, cut out doing that thing that really isn't a thing until we say to do that thing. I mean, at least that would be funny. To conclude, we don't know what you're talking about. My client is not going to comply with your letter in any way, shape, or form. And we hereby demand that you stop doing something. You have to guess what it is, though, or you are committing a RICO violation. Govern yourself accordingly. Sincerely, Mark J. Randazza. Mens rea is Latin. It means guilty mind. Thank you, Pearl Strand. What do you guys think of this? The intention of doing something knowing it's wrong? I fucking love it. So it's funny that he mentions this, right? You have to guess what it is or you're committing a RICO violation. So that brings us to the next bomb that was dropped on Reddit. The RICO. I won't leave you hanging. The RICO Suave. This is a bomb, okay? Yikes. Okay. So here's the actual filing. And we're going to go through it. But I'm also going to take notes from the person who posted it on Reddit, who is Bright Breakfast. So Bright Breakfast 3911, thank you for posting this. Greatly appreciated. So I'm going to read through the Reddit post, and then we're gonna read through this document at the same time. Oh, Shaboogies, it is so good. Like, it's so good. This involves so many characters. So in a nutshell, let me just tell you a little bit about the defendants. Let me scroll up here so you can see all these defendants in this RICO. And just to break it down a little bit for you as to who the defendants are. Hold on. I'm going to run it down for you. You guys are going to shit. Okay. Okay, so the defendants are Lauren's father.
Just help a brother out here.
Thank you, Patrick, for joining today. Welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close the legs. Okay, the defendants are Lauren's father, Jamison Johnson. Stepmother, Karen Salas. Brother and attorney, Pace Johnson. Sister-in-law, Stacy Roberts. Brother, Adrian Johnson. Sister-in-law, Stephanie Strasnick. And there is also 10 unnamed does.
Just help a brother out here.
I am fucking shook. Thank you so much, Flo, for just gifting 10. Holy smokers. We got 10 new cooters. Nikki, Vivian, Florida Girl, JoJo Nanny, Twisted Branches, Allie, A-Girl, Heather, Roxy, and Pyrex. I love Pyrex dishes. Welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close your legs. Thank you, Patrick Sanford, FBI. You're kind of one of my faves, too. So there's more defendants. You guys ready? Those are just her family members. That's just the family members, y'all. The others are Tatum Jorgensen, who is a legal assistant at Pace Johnson Law. Daston Doe, a Utah attorney of 6 years. Shaboogies, welcome to Cooterville, girl. Come on in and close your legs. By the way, if you see Sleuthy Goosey, tell her ass that I loved her performance last night with the mustache and shit. By the way, she is beautiful.
Just help a brother.
I always thought Sleuthy's got like her AI picture. Nope, she's pretty. Oh my God, she's so funny. Did you see the reply by attorney Nick Randazza? Yeah, we just read it. We just read if you want to go back and just catch up, we just read the letter. She is stunning. Aw, thanks, Shaboogies. She really is. I always thought that girl's too pretty to be her real picture, but it's her. Okay, so let's keep going on the defendants. Thank you again for joining, you guys. And Flo, thank you for the 10 cooterships. Okay, so we've got Daston Doe, who is her lawyer, the one that we heard in the recording. Jared L. Anderson, who is a Utah attorney. Jeremy Short, who's a Utah attorney. David Gardner, a Utah attorney. David Knudsen, he is the owner of All the Gravity LLCs, which is a direct lending alternative finance company. Whew. And then we have the CR True LLC, which is owned by Pace Johnson, and also 1028S 1990E LLC, owned by Pace Johnson. Lauren is not named Irish, but there's 10 unnamed does. Look here. See this right here? And does 1 through 10. There's 10 more motherfuckers that aren't named yet. Something's going on here. These people, okay, so I'm going to go through the list again before we go through this lawsuit. I'm going to tell you who everybody is, what they do, what they own, etc. Okay? First of all, though, I'm going to show you who the plaintiff, right, is Max Warren Barber. And I was like, who's suing them? Who is this guy? Oh my God. I got into a fucking rabbit hole this morning. So let's take a look at Max Barber. This is Max. Hold on. Here's Max out here. He's been involved in a $37 million investment fraud. Right here. Crypto fraud. This is the dude who's suing them in the RICO. Why does he look like Chad Daybell? Who are these people? I literally cannot with this. Flo, the rabbit hole is deep. So this guy was involved in a crypto fraud lawsuit brought by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. And they're saying in this article here says they will only they said they would only testify if it was kept secret. Max Barber's barber did him dirty. He's got the fucking check cut. Do it, lady. Wait, hold on. So this is who's suing them, this guy. And then you've got here where it says U.S. government shutdown delays $37 million crypto fraud trial. This is fucking 2025. Look at this. SEC versus Arbitrade Limited. Max Barber's statement of material facts. This 2024. All these. Max fucking Barber. So then you go here and watch. Max Barber. This is, hold on. This is his fucking YouTube. Let me fix the screen here. Ugh, this is just weird shit, man. All right, so this is Max Barber's YouTube, where it says Max Warren Barber, management of gold trading. So he was into like gold. I don't know what all that means. I'm not sure about gold trading and cryptos, but this is the guy that's suing them. Let's watch this really quick. This is what he does. Follow the money, right? Okay, so it says he is head of the Sion, S-I-O-N, gold trading FZE that was founded in 2015 in Ras Al Khaimah. And hello, Andy. I saw you come in earlier. I forgot to say hi. Hello, Miss Andy. Oh, it totally went sideways. She just put the spotlight on her. What's Ras Al Khaimah? He's a pirate, let's see. I don't understand it either. I just know there's been a lot of fraud with it. Look at why does he have a fucking, look at it. He has a carnival ride in the background. In accordance with the law, every company or person that participates in gold trading is obligated to behave in a manner that is compliant with the whole of the government's imposed rules and restrictions on the matter. And he's got a fucking carnival ride. What a weirdo. It's like he's a law-abiding citizen or something. So this is just like making it look like he has 3 subscribers. And he's only got like 4 videos on here. Gold mining industry. Max Warren's untold secrets of gold trading. Is he going to talk? Nope. He don't talk in any of these. Gold mining and shit. If you want to be successful in the gold mining? It did True Crime Gate. Gold bullion cubes. Dude, there's just a whole lot more. Hey, young black, you're going to want to rewind to the letter we read. Okay, so oops. So again, this is Max Barber. This is who's suing them. Let's go back to the RICO. Let me fix this again. Bear with me. Rico Suave. This is so fucking wild. All right, so we've got Max Barber is the plaintiff, and we've got David Knudsen, and I'm going to read again who they are. In this lawsuit, as defendants, we have father of Lauren, James Johnson, Fulbright scholar, went to Columbia Law School. He's been disbarred in 3 states. Stepmother, Karen Salas, the owner of the Unfolding Human massage and energy work. Brother and attorney, Pace Johnson. He's the managing attorney at Pace Johnson Law. Meet Pace Johnson. Here he is. There's Pace. We also have sister-in-law Stacy Roberts. She is a psychotherapist in private practice. Saying you're going to make me spit out my coffee. Yes, the Unfolding Human. Can't make it up. Then we have brother Adrian Johnson, and he has a business degree from Oxford. Sister-in-law Stephanie Strasnick went to University of Vermont and owns an advertising agency. Then we have, of course, the 10 does that are listed down here as well, right? And then the others are Tatum Jorgensen, the legal assistant at Pace Johnson Law, Daston Doe, Utah attorney, 6 years, Jared Anderson, Utah attorney, 27 years, Jeremy Short, Utah attorney, 19 years in eviction law, David Gardner, Utah attorney, 12 years, eviction law, David Knudsen, owner of all the Gravity LLCs, a direct lending alternative finance company, and 1028S 1990E LLC and CR True LLC are owned by Pace Johnson. This is Pace Johnson. This is Lauren's brother. All defendants knowingly conspired and agreed to achieve the common unlawful objective of the enterprise. Their precisely coordinated actions demonstrate a meeting of the minds to conduct the enterprise's affairs through the pattern of racketeering. Who would like to go to frickin' Thanksgiving dinner at their house? All right, so let's start looking at the allegations here. We're going to read through this RICO. So, David Knudsen, a principal of Gravity Entities, Gravity Capital LLC, Gravity Funding LLCs, allegedly mischaracterized a $332,000 consumer loan as a business purpose. Knudsen allegedly then recorded liens of $1.2 million on each property, $2.4 million total, despite the $332,000 loan. Knudsen and the Gravity LLCs allegedly failed to correct liens as ordered by the bankruptcy court. They filed bankruptcy and then allegedly had a foreclosure sale with Lauren's dad and brother, where one of the brothers allegedly acted as a straw buyer. Her dad and one brother then allegedly forcibly entered the property and rekeyed the door locks. One brother then allegedly filed a fraudulent eviction action. Her dad and one brother then allegedly used a new LLC they formed and controlled to allegedly receive the title and proceeds from the sale, using the LLCs as a cover to allegedly conceal the proceeds. They are all crooks. All right, so we're going to scroll down here to the factual allegations. Let's go down. Page 7. See, let's read this about Max Barber. Plaintiff Max Warren Barber is an individual residing in Salt Lake City, Utah. He is the beneficiary and sole trustee of the MSB Trust, which holds legal title to the properties, granting him equitable ownership and standing. Defendant David Knutson is an individual residing in Utah and the principal of the Gravity entities. He is subject to a permanent FTC injunction for predatory lending practices. That guy also owns all of these Gravity fundings, blah, blah, blah. Right here, number 19. This is her dad. Defendant Jameis Melwood Johnson. He also resides in Utah. He's a disbarred attorney and a convicted felon in this district for money laundering, mortgage fraud, and wire and mail fraud. Y'all, the date on this, look. Filed 9/17/2025.
Just help a brother out here.
Mary Elizabeth Butler, welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close your legs. Defendant Adrian Isaac Johnson is an individual residing in Utah who acted as the designated straw buyer at the void foreclosure sale. Defendant Jared Anderson is also in Utah. He acted as a successor trustee and knowingly conducted the foreclosure sale in violation of the automatic stay. Look at this. Defendant 1028S 1900E LLC. It's controlled by Jameis and Pace Johnson. They used to take the title from the void sale. Then we have Pace Johnson. He is residing in Utah and an attorney. He formed shell entities and prosecuted the wrongful eviction action. Oh, shit. Hello, Dr. Vonda K. Oh, shit. Defendant CR True LLC is another company controlled by Pace and Jameis. Again, here's Pace. Meet Pace Johnson. He's the managing attorney. He works with He works with True Crime Kate. There's 10 does that aren't named in this lawsuit. What was the date? Thanks, Kelly.
I want to say thank you for making it happen.
I think it was the 15th, wasn't it? Yeah, meet Pace. Why do they all look the same? Like, why does Pace Johnson look like Dastin Doe? Who are these people? Defendants, Karen Salas. That's her stepmother, married to Jameis. Stacy, Stephanie, sister-in-laws. Tatum. They participated in the unlawful activities alleged herein. And then we have Dastin Doe. He furthered the wrongful state court proceedings. We have David Gardner. Did the same thing. Jeremy Short. Oh, look at this. Number 29. Defendants does 1 through 10 are individuals or entities whose identities are not yet known to the plaintiff, but who participated in the unlawful conduct alleged herein. Yeah, that's what he changed his name to, was Doe. His name was something totally different before, and then he changed it to Doe. He tried to change his kids' names without permission. Hey, Liz, you look good in green. So, Lauren's not mentioned in this, but there's 10 people that aren't. Everything's coming out. Is that right, Anna? That's interesting. Hey, Kim. I love my mornings with y'all, too. I'm going to go off camera for a few minutes. If you know, you know. Okay, so we've got the does 1 through 10. Could be anybody. Yeah, he meant the doe. All right, so the factual allegations is the part I wanted to get to. The RICO enterprise. The association of all defendants constitutes an association in fact enterprise under USC with an ascertainable structure, common purpose, and relationships among its associates sufficient to satisfy the standard. The enterprise functions as a continuing unit with a distinct structure, separate from the pattern of racketeering activity. The enterprise's common purpose is to unlawfully acquire equity from distressed property owners through a systematic predatory lending scheme. The scheme follows a specific pattern. You ready? 1. Equity trapping. The enterprise makes loans secured by high equity properties and then records grossly, artificially inflated liens. Example, $2.4 million on a $332,000 loan to make it impossible for the owner to refinance through traditional lenders. This is horrible. Forced default. The enterprise then engineers an artificial default by making sudden, extortionate demands for balloon payments and refusing tender payments. C. In instances of bankruptcy fraud, when the property owner, gravity borrower, which is the bank, the gravity is the alternative thing, this financing owned by this guy. When they seek bankruptcy protection, the enterprise's legal representatives utilize fraudulent liens to falsely assert to the court that no equity exists for reorganization. This is not listing Lauren. This is Lauren's family and her lawyers, among other people. Good morning, Ash. This action aims to lift the automatic stay to facilitate foreclosure or to compel a Chapter 7 liquidation, thereby forcing a sale. In either scenario, the enterprise benefits significantly. Yeah, strong-arming people that are in trouble with their freaking mortgage. 1, through the trustee's actions and subsequent equity appropriation, or 2, by registering grossly inflated liens on the bankruptcy claims, resulting in a substantial gross profit through a legitimate bankruptcy court decree and Chapter 7 trustee sale of property of the estate. The enterprise maintains a distinct division of labor. A, the bank. That's defendant Knudsen and the gravity entities. They provide capital and deploy fraudulent loan instruments. B, the operations manager is defendant James Johnson, a disbarred Utah, New York attorney from prior criminal enterprise, coordinates the unlawful acquisition of properties in the created foreclosure manipulation and straw buyers. This guy didn't learn shit. Her dad did not learn shit. He's still doing the same shit. Why is he out of prison? Lock him up. Fucking constantly frauding people out of their homes, out of their property. Exactly, Bobo Roo. The legal arm is C. Defendants Pace Johnson, Meet Pace, Daston Doe. That's Lauren's fucking joke of an attorney. Daston D's nuts. David Gardner and Jeremy Short to facilitate the scheme by providing legal support, forming shell entities. And an example of the shell are these LLCs used to launder proceeds and abusing the judicial process. So are we surprised that Lauren Matthias did this fucking petty shit? The associates, Karen Salas, Stacy Johnson, Stephanie Johnson, and other individual defendants act at the direction of the leadership to execute specific tasks, such as acting as straw buyers. Adrian Johnson, another brother of Lauren Matthias, carrying out illegal self-help convictions. Self-help convictions. Then we have Salas and Jorgensen aiding and abetting the functions of multiple shell entities, compromising the organization. The enterprise exhibits open-ended continuity, posing a clear threat of continued criminal activity, as the scheme is the defendant's regular way of conducting business. This is demonstrated by defendant's extensive history of utilizing the same MO. Thank you, Flobo. We know way too much about RICO here. But remember, the feds couldn't even get Diddy or Young Thug. Good luck, I say. Thank you, Flobo. I just feel like with Jameis's past, he definitely should be getting in some trouble for this, right? I mean, they're all abusing the judicial system over and over and over. Right, maybe Bobby with an eye can help. Huh. Okay, so we're at Knudson's history. FTC injunction. Knudson operates under a permanent FTC injunction, prohibiting him from directing a consumer to falsely state the purpose of an extension of credit. B. Johnson's history, criminal conviction. Jameis Johnson was convicted in the district for a mortgage fraud conspiracy involving straw buyers and fraudulent documents. The enterprise's pattern of conduct is not isolated to plaintiff, but extends nationwide, confirming this is their regular method of business, and with similar allegations of fraud and bankruptcy, stay manipulation in California, Florida, and Texas. We got 3 fucking states in addition to Utah. Unbelievable. The fraudulent loan and TILA violations. So this dates back to 2022. On or about March 22nd, 2022, Knudson and the Gravity entities provided a loan to plaintiff with the principal amount of $332,000. The loan was a consumer transaction subject to TILA, as plaintiff used the funds for personal, family, or household purposes, including renovating his primary residence. Defendants had actual direct and written knowledge of the loan's consumer purpose before closing. On March 21st, 2022, plaintiff explicitly informed defendant's representative via email, my residential homeowner's policy, I live in the 1028S 1900E, and the other is going to be renovated 1836E. I don't know what this all means. It lists the plaintiff's home address. I don't know what all that means. Some of this is kind of confusing. They directed the plaintiff to sign documents falsely stating the proceeds were solely and exclusively for business and commercial. This conduct directly violates the permanent FTC injunction against Knudson. Then we have on March 23rd, 2022, in furtherance of the scheme, the defendants fraudulently recorded a lien of $1.2 million against each of the plaintiff's properties for a total of $2.4 million. So the plaintiff again is Max Barber down here. This is the plaintiff in this case. Plaintiff first discovered the grossly inflated liens in early of 2025. So this all went down in 2022, and he's noticing this in early 2025. The discovery was made when a prospective buyer for the properties was informed by the title company of the excessive liens recorded by the Gravity defendants. Until this disclosure from an independent third party, defendants' fraudulent concealment of the loan's true terms and their refusal to provide an accounting prevented plaintiff from discovering the injury. Defendant's own sworn statements confirm the fraudulent nature of these liens. In the MSB Trust bankruptcy case, Gravity Capital filed a proof of claim under penalty of perjury, asserting a secured debt of $161,500 against each property, an amount irreconcilable with the 1.2 million liens. The Gravity entities actively concealed the TILA violations and committed subsequent independent violations. Plaintiff exercised due diligence by repeatedly requesting an accounting. Plaintiff's diligence included repeated inquiries, but the fraud was concealed until the 2025 discovery. Plaintiff, quote, asked more than 4 times for a statement or payoff, including written requests in May and June of 2025. Defendant's refusal to provide this information constituted fraudulent concealment, which prevented plaintiff from discovering the full scope of the TILA violations. All right, so let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, we need to go to causes of action, which is page 15. Hold on. Here we go. Causes of action. Count 1, breach of contract. Plaintiff incorporates by reference all preceding paragraphs. The stipulation, June 11th order, constitutes a valid and enforceable contract as well as a binding court order. Defendants materially breached the June 11th order by failing to perform the condition precedent, correcting the inflated liens, and providing an accounting. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's breach, the pending 3.3 million sales of the properties failed, causing plaintiffs substantial damages. Oops. Count 3, willful violation of the automatic stay. This is against all the defendants. Violation of RICO Act. Okay, so against individual defendants, Knudsen, J. Johnson, A. Johnson, P. Johnson, Anderson Salas, S.R. Johnson, S.S. Johnson, Jorgensen, Doe, Gardner, and Short. Meet Pace. Pace is involved in a RICO. The association of the defendants constitutes an enterprise affecting interstate commerce. The individual defendants conducted the enterprise affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity. Conspiracy to violate RICO. Violation of the Sherman Act against Knudsen, Gravity entities, J. Johnson, A. Johnson, S.R. Johnson, and 1028 LLC. Violation of the Truth in Lending Act against Knudsen and all his Gravity entities. Violation of the FDCPA against all defendants. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what all this means, but I'm going to read through these counts. Wrongful foreclosure. This is against defendants Knudsen, Gravity entities, and Anderson. Quiet title against all defendants. Slander of title against all defendants. Civil conspiracy against all defendants. Abuse of process against Pace Johnson, Meet Pace, Dio, Jameis, and these LLCs, Gardner and Short. Intentional infliction of emotional distress against J. Johnson, Salas, Jorgensen, and the LLC. Torturous interference with economic relations against all defendants. Trespass against J. Johnson, K. Salas, T. Jorgensen, and 1028. Unjust enrichment. So this is what they want. Prayer for relief for a declaratory judgment that the July 22nd, 2025 foreclosure sale, the resulting trustee's deed, and all subsequent transfers are void ab initio, for a decree quieting title to the properties in the name of the MSB Trust, for an order directing the Salt Lake County Recorder to expunge the void trustee's deed and any subsequent related conveyances from the public record, for an award of actual damages, costs, attorney's fees, defending all actions, and punitive damages. So then they have all these statutories under these different acts of RICO, Sherman Act. Plaintiff demands a jury trial on all claims and issues so triable. This was filed September 16th, 2025 by Max Barber, and he's pro se. He's doing a RICO pro se? Oh, my God. So this is... he's going pro se, this Max Barber, this crypto gold miner person. Is Sleuthy here? Good job on the mustache last night. This is crazy. This is going over. Oh my God, Hidden True Slime, your picture. It's hilarious. This is crazy though, because here's the exhibitees. Declaration of Max. Email to Kenyon Dove. Text messages from L. Horton. Judgment in a criminal case, United States versus Johnson. Dude, I think that's weird, Hutchinson. Hutchinson, what did you say? I wonder, since Lauren's brother Jamie was going to back Hidden True Crime, got into a wreck and passed months later, do you think the law firm who is Lauren's lawyers are part owners of HTC? Funny how HTC is making millions in 5-6 years. Oh, man. Chat GPT, what do you mean, Lauren? Or Lindsay? They conspired to defraud the guy who got the loan and inflate the loan value. I mean, I must admit, I don't really understand the whole doings of the loan. I just know they're scamming people out of their shit. And he's probably not the only plaintiff. 3 freaking states? Look at this. Look at this right here under O. Notice of appearance of counsel. Daston M. Doe. Yeah, mimosas. That sounds good. Make me one. Sounds like they're all scammers to me. So we'll definitely, I mean, this is a real thing. This just was filed in September, y'all. What do you guys think? Remember, we watched that video of Lauren's dad and her stepmom? I know, Sir Scamalots. We can just call him Sir Scamalots. I've heard of people who failed to pay their property taxes losing their house without even knowing it happened. Right? People can just buy them from under you. But I don't think that's what they're doing. They're doing false lending practices or something, it seems like. Let me read some of your comments, because maybe you guys understand this better than I do. Adrian, Lauren's brother, was one of the conservators to Lauren's brother who died. Oh. No wonder Lauren's family members keep changing their name and use LLCs to steal underwater properties. Hey, Momo Shark. Lauren had the audacity to proclaim her dad was innocent and falsely convicted in her stupid She did? She said he was innocent. He still proclaims his innocence. Remember Doe's filing, though, where he didn't want anybody to talk bad about him? Oh, man. Lindsay Hendricks says, also, I found some cases out of Texas recently as of May 2025 where David Knudsen, Jameis Melwood, Johnson, and Gravity Capital and Gravity Funding were being sued. See, and I haven't watched all of that. We need to go over that because I haven't seen all that. False lending practices, then claiming the properties in default to sell them. That's crazy. Fake evictions and shit. They ought to be ashamed. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Let me see if I missed any other things in here. So that must be why Randazza over here, the lawyer that responded to the C&D, made this comment. Here's his last statement again. To conclude, this is the response from Randazza Legal Group to the C&D that someone got. To conclude, we don't know what you're talking about. My client is not going to comply with your letter in any way, shape, or form, and we hereby demand that you stop doing something. You have to guess what it is, though, or you are committing a RICO violation. Jay, for whatever it's worth, Dastin Doe's original name is Dallin Mark Durbano. His dad is Douglas Durbano. Ran for Utah Senate in 2022, but lost in the primary. Wow. I knew he changed his name. I just think it's weird. Who changes their name to Doe? But let's focus on some TikToks that don't even name her. That don't even name her. Anders. Yes, this is active. This is an active motion for sure. This was filed 9/17/25, where he demanded a jury trial. So I don't know what, if there's more. I don't know. I just have this filing. And I want to thank Bright Breakfast. Bright Breakfast posted this too on Reddit. Apple White Dude from Heaven's Gate. What's that? Glenda the Good Witch. I asked my husband to get me. What do you guys talk about panty liners for? Seems like Lauren's family and family connections are all vile. It sure does. It sure does. Again, this is the fucking guy, Max Barber. Ugh. Like, who's this guy? Troy Hogg. Look at him. James Goldberg, Stephen Braverman. And then you got this dude. Fucking weird, man. I'll tell you what, but meet Pace Johnson. So when do they have to be in court? Do we know? Do they have a court date? Do they have a court date? Oops. All right, hold on a second. Max looks like a useful idiot. He probably is. He kind of looks like Dumbbell. Thanks for the sub. With friends like the Johnsons, who needs enemies? Oh, fuck. Dastin has a 12/9 bankruptcy hearing? Holy shit. Is there anything these people don't have going on? Jameson Johnson. Hold on. So the stepmother, too. Hold on a second. All right. So we can't forget though that there's 10. Oh shit. Okay, look at this. Let me show you guys this. There's 10 does yet to be named. Okay, check this out. This was also posted by Bright Breakfast. Let me fix it. So this right here says on July 23rd, 2025, I was present at blank in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hold on. This is telling what Jameson did, her dad. On that day, I personally witnessed a man whom I now know to be Jameis Melwood Johnson arrive at the property. I observed Mr. Johnson approached the residence and without permission or invitation, forcibly gained entry into the home. He did not knock and wait for an answer, but rather forced his way inside. His demeanor was aggressive and confrontational. He acted as if he had a right to be there and was attempting to take control of the property, stating he had purchased the homes and was the owner. His actions with his associates caused immediate alarm and distress. The situation became so tense and threatening that the police were called to the scene to intervene. I observed the police arrive and speak with all parties, including Mr. Johnson, who portrayed himself as a lawyer. What? Portrayed himself as a lawyer to the police, citing legal terms, and was intentionally trying to deceive the police with a sleeping bag in hand to attempt domain over the property and demanding the police assist him in self-help remedies in a civil matter. He was made to leave the premises. Holy shit. He's been disbarred for years. OMG. Oh, the webs we weave.
The law and crime.
Law and crime's the least of our fucking worries. Do we agree on that? Hey guys, remember when Lori's dad used to pretend to be a lawyer? Lauren equals Lori. Someone even said that in this Reddit. Let me find the comment. Right here. Isn't that what Lori Vallow's dad did? He said he was a lawyer, but never passed the bar or was disbarred. Lori's dad also served time for tax crimes. What was Dr. John's opinions on Lori's dad? So Lori Daybell's dad lied about being an attorney when he never was. Wow. And it says here that the Matthiases have 3 different entities. They have the Matthias Family Trust, Hidden Productions LLC, and Strive Psychology LLC. Yeah, no wonder they want to change their names. That's pretty true. Let's see if we've got anything else that has been posted since. Okay, here's another comment. Also, Dastin Doe, Lauren's attorney, whom she gave multiple shout outs to during the 9-hour live and who represents her, was there arguing on the September 22nd evidentiary hearing. So is she even going to have a lawyer after this? Okay, then someone says Lauren's stepmom owning an energy work business gives me icky Julie Rowe vibes. I thought the church said that was a no-no. Someone needs to send this to Ann Jeanette. Or Jesse Weber.
On prime crime.
I'm just a mom with a YouTube channel. You know, it makes me want to listen to that. It makes me want to listen to the fucking thing. Do you guys want to review Dr. John reviewing his own video with Stacey Wondra? I's got time today, y'all. I got time if you want to do it. I want to hear the musical. And then we can review Dr. John if you guys want. You know what's funny to me is that Lauren doesn't realize who her audience is. A bunch of fucking sleuths. What did she think we were going to do? Right? It's crazy to me. This whole thing is just fucking nuts, y'all. He reviewed his own video. Yes, I haven't seen it yet. Here, let's watch the musical and then we'll review Dr. John. Stay with me, folks. Hit the like button. I haven't heard this in weeks. I'm going to go grab a drink and then we will review Jawn. Let's do it.
Hey, everyone.
I've never been more nervous for alive in my entire life. And I've done a lot of lives. And this is not a lie or a show that I ever wanted to do or ever thought I would have to do. And this has been ongoing for months, what I have been dealing with. This is not drama, hidden true crime doesn't get involved in drama. We stay very clear from that, and those of you that know us know that. So I hope that nobody calls this drama ever again. In fact, it's so real life, what has been going on with my family and with me for months, that I decided to go to where I felt would protect me. And that was the courts and legal. And I filed a civil stalking injunction. Somehow someone decided to let law and crime know about my civil stalking injunction. Law and crime decided that they deserve to have cameras in the courtroom while I am explaining what my family has been going through for months. That law and crime, I don't know, is it a slow true crime month? They thought that my family's pain should be live streamed on their trial channel.
Trial channel.
I am a limited public figure. I'm just a mom who has a YouTube channel. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm not Amber Heard. I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am a mother trying to protect my family, and I am a journalist who has never ever in my life heard of anyone streaming of civil stalking injunctions. Because of what Wa and Quime did, I had to dismiss
law and
my
crime.
civil stalking injunction. And I find it disgusting that anyone would want to do that to me or my family. I wanted to keep this private. I wanted to keep my pain and the bullying and the abuse and the harassment and the defamation and the pain that I have been dealing with behind the scenes for months. I wanted to keep it private, not live stream to millions of people watching War and Crime. I'm gonna take back my narrative, and I'm gonna own my narrative, and I'm gonna tell you everything tonight. We're gonna go through every filing. We're gonna go through a lot. My hand has been forced. I am very uncomfortable sitting here. Do you wanna know wrath of a mother? I am a limited public figure. I'm just a mom who has a YouTube channel. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm not Amber Heard. I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am a mother trying to protect my family, and I am a journalist who has never ever in
here I am.
Oh my God, she cut me out of the end. What a salty ass bitch. Really, Olive? Did you guys notice she cut my one crime out of the end? I'll say it myself. But one crime won't win. Wow.
The one crime.
That's crazy that she edited that out. People are so fucking weird on these streets, let me tell you. Salty as fuck. Cram it, you need to unleash. Petty much? Yeah, she cut me off. Oh, because her friends don't like me anymore. So they all had to gang up on Jay. Weird. It just shows you the pettiness on this platform. It's your turn, Cram it. Do it, lady. I should be angry for the next 5 years because of this. I'm going to have a 9-hour live. I've been cut off. Oh, I didn't even upload it yet, Melissa. But guess what? I can play it for you. This is what I have to say. You ready? Hold on.
Fuck y'all, all of y'all. If y'all don't like me, blow me.
Fuck y'all, all y'all. I'll upcut it. The person that made it. The person that made it cut me off. She had me at the end. Let me promote it. Let me tell everybody to hype that video and then cut me out because her friends don't like me. That is so weird. Okay, anyways. Oh, I got to do a 10-hour. Hey, Bassman, I'm late. I just saw the Randazza thing. I loved his letter. He's a high-profile lawyer. He's a badass. You don't want to get in his way. Is he definitely out of Florida then? It's really, really petty. But yeah, that's how people do each other. I'm going to throw all my fucking glasses. Penny Farthing coming in hot with 5.
Just help a brother out here.
With 5. If she copyright claims it, more power to her. 13, Mandy, Fancy Nancy,
help a brother
Glenda,
out.
Soul Attitude, and DIW Vintage. Welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close your legs.
Just help a brother out here.
I'll put a link to it in the description, Pearl Strand, after we end. I mean,
Just
he's
help a
one of
brother
Turtle
out
Boy's lawyers, really? Oh, I did not know that. I never heard of him. I didn't follow Karen Reed.
Just help a brother out here.
Hey, Olivia B. That's just wild. Wild, wow, wow. Okay. So we're going to watch Dr. Jawn review. Yeah, Cram It makes awesome AI videos. Cram It said she's on it. So this is 1 day ago. Look at all the promos they've got. Look. Aura Frames. MIDI Health. AG1. Look. Look at all her fucking promos. Did they always have that many promos in their videos? Mark Randazza, he's the lawyer that wrote a response that we went over in the beginning to a C&D. He's a big First Amendment lawyer. FSU, eyes wide open, petty crap and manufactured drama with a lot on these streets. My sub list has decreased. Yeah, join the club. So have mine. So have mine. People are crying about AI on the Reddit, but my opinion is that you take yourself too serious. Look at where you are, people. Someone said that's not Turtle Boy's lawyer. I don't know who Turtle Boy's lawyer is. Dr. Babe married into the Johnson crime family. I hope he's proud. What will his fellow friends say? Does he have friends? Okay, so this was a day ago. It says psychologist breaks down his interview with accused child killer, Michael Monkey Vaughn case.
Natural knee-jerk reaction to help other people in pain, other people that are hurting, other people that are...
This is how they start the video? Just a random sentence? Grayson, you suck. Grayson, your editing, your video skills, they suck donkey balls. I'm just going to say that. You are not a good editor. How do you even start a video out like that? I'm already lost. Let me put on captions.
Human beings have a natural knee-jerk reaction to help other people in pain, other people that are hurting, other people that are afraid.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, then something is not right. Something's abnormal.
Correct. Hello, gems. So glad to be with all of you today. Wow, we have a lot to talk about.
We're going to go through a lot.
To the Michael or Monkey Vaughn case. As many of you know by now, we have 2 arrested and charged.
I got to speed her up.
With kidnapping and first-degree murder of 5-year-old Michael Vaughn. And
that reminds me of Grayson. That reminds me of Grayson. This is how people get murdered. We're in this. We see this. This is how people get murdered.
To you the probable causes of both Stacy and Sarah Wondra, a married couple, Stacy a male, Sarah his wife at the time that monkey was kidnapped. And we've also heard your 2023 interview with Stacy Wondra, John. And I want to hear your thoughts now. You and I have been talking about this, and I think all of us are actually quite anxious to hear your thoughts. This has been one of the most heartbreaking cases we have followed and covered. While I'm so grateful that there's, some understanding coming to light, it's heartbreaking, though, that Michael has still not been found and his family is hurting. They say that they still want to bring him home and are requesting that Stacy, Sarah, or Adrian or Brandon, 2 people that are suspects in this case, let them know where Michael is. So we will remember them in this episode and their unanswered questions. But yes, I want to know what your thoughts are. I know that you recently revisited the interview you did with him, which you don't like to do. You don't like to listen to yourself, but you revisited and listened and have read the probable causes. What are your thoughts? Where are you now?
Well, I think the interview, there's 2 parts to the interview. There's a brief history, and I say brief history because I think I had maybe an hour, maybe a little less than an hour to kind of interview him and get a quick history on his past and his childhood, which is always important to me. Normally, I would spend more time with that. Normally, I'd spend hours, maybe 4 to 6 hours on that alone. So this was kind of a really brief history, but I think there were some things we learned, or I think our listeners can review and listen to this history and pick up some elements that we tend to find in the criminal psyche. And again, let me just point out, I'm not saying that Stacy or Sarah Wondra are guilty. They're charged. They haven't been convicted, so this is all alleged. But there's certainly some interesting elements in his history that would suggest that he might be capable of committing this crime. And of course, to finally have murder charges, I think is a positive step in this case. But there's really 2 components here. There's in the interview I did, I wanted to get a brief history, and then I wanted to kind of assess the crime itself. And there's some little things from that interview that I didn't think were important at all, that now really stand out, and I want to bring some of those to light.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree.
So
I re-listened too.
We'll talk about that. So one of the obvious things we were curious to know was what happened on the evening of July 27th of 2021. What happened to Michael?
Hi, Dr.
And
Macy.
would we ever have a reasonable explanation for what happened? And I think this is probably the closest we're going to get to that.
Right.
Ooh, that tongue action. Am I going to get a copyright for this? I don't know. What's the obsession? Grayson's reaction, this is how people get murdered, is so alarming. She is weird, but still 20 years younger than, and their relationship is so unacceptable. I agree.
Probably the closest we're going to get to that.
Watch the tongue.
Right. The probable cause.
I know you read the probable cause, but I'm going to read it again just as a kind of a introduction to our discussion. Parts of this, the part I'm going to read, are going to be important. So I want to kind of just summarize some of this statement and the probable cause affidavit for our listeners again, and then I'm going to pick up on pieces of this. So on November 10th, 2022, this is from the probable cause. On November 10th, 2022, Stacy again asked to speak with.
I've seen his room, and I don't believe that she would allow these cheap bookcases and the shit that's cheap. He's got like a fucking Temu, like fake plant in there. I'm just like, how does Lauren allow this?
Fruitland police detectives. Stacy wanted a, quote, deal, unquote, the same offer that was given to Sarah. Stacy admitted that we know obviously this is Michael, admitted that Michael had been in the house the night of M's abduction. Stacy admitted the tricycle had been in his garage where Kim Elko had previously described seeing it. And this is the description. So it's important to note, by the way, that this is a confession, right? That the bulk of this evidence they have for this probable cause statement is essentially a confession.
Right.
And we'll talk about that more because Stacy addresses that in my interview. So you're going to know from my interview what his defense is going to be. Stacy then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their house. Stacy said Michael was put into a duffel bag to transport him out of their house into Brandon's house in Kuna. Stacy said Sarah was frantic, trying to figure out what to do, and Brandon interjected, quote, I have a duffel bag. Stacy described Michael as crying, and to prevent him from moving or making noise,
Yep,
Stacy
brand new,
described how
one
Sarah
day ago.
taped Michael using duct tape. When asked to put Michael in the bag, Stacy said Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag open as they shoved Michael in the duffel bag. Stacy described Michael get away. Stacy said he could see Michael in the bag with his knees bent up in the fetal position.
Why is he rereading this part?
While describing and demonstrating
Oops. Fuck.
how Michael was taped and stuffed into a duffel bag in his living room, Stacy had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. When asked if he was vomiting because of the chewing tobacco he was using, he indicated he was throwing up because of the stress of talking about Michael. He talks briefly about the GMC truck pulling over before they left. I'll talk about that in a minute. There were two reasons. One is the power steering fluid, which he talked about with me. And the second reason is, quote, so Brandon could check to see if Michael was still alive because Michael was bound with duct tape and stuffed into a duffel bag in the bed of the truck. Stacy said he was able to hear Michael making noises like a, quote, dull scream, unquote. Stacy said they were worried about being seen because they saw a car parked off of South Arizona Avenue. Stacy said they drove straight to Brandon's mother's house in Kuna, Idaho, where
She
Brandon
looks
grabbed
really
both bags,
interested.
the duffel bag containing Michael and a backpack, and went
Why
into
is
the
she
house
so
by
mad,
himself.
you guys?
Stacy said that once they arrived in Kuna, Michael was not making any more noises, and none of them had checked on Michael to verify he was still alive. Stacy said that Brandon told him he left Michael in the bag and put him in the spare room inside his mother's house. I mean, reading that just broke my heart.
I know.
There's no other. Reading that was so difficult. I mean, just the absolute lack of empathy, the absolute indifference to this little boy in this duffel bag, kicking and screaming. They put him in this duffel bag. They duct tape him.
Oh God, Dr. John. It's like false anger. I don't feel like he's really mad about what Stacy did. It's like fake outrage. It's like fake outrage.
They put him in this duffel bag. They duct tape him. He's kicking, he's screaming, he's wiggling, he's trying to get out. He's in pain, obviously. He's fighting for his life.
Stop. Why do you have to be so fucking graphic? Don't you think we all kind of know in our minds what the fuck happened? When they duct taped and put a baby in a bag? Stop it. Ugh.
And they don't care. They dump him in the back of the pickup truck. They don't even, it's like an afterthought. He says here, once they arrived in Kuna, Michael was not making any more noises, and none of them had checked on him to verify he was still alive. Like that never occurred to them.
Yeah.
And what's
But they didn't even look. They didn't even wonder.
They didn't even wonder. They didn't
They didn't even wonder.
They didn't even, it was like once they put him in the duffel bag, they already had made the decision to murder him. And they were, because that appeared to be their decision, they were completely indifferent. They were completely blasé. They were completely immune to his suffering. It's just mind boggling, right? Like this story is so heart-wrenching and so disturbing. You know, at the time of this crime, one of the reasons why this had such an emotional resonance for me was because our little boy was 4.
Fuck. What? You know, why do you compare your little boy to every fucking crime you cover? Remember, JJ reminded him of their little boy, too. It's so fucking weird. A little boy was 4. Mouth breather.
And Michael Vaughn was 5. And in talking to Brandy about Michael, I think we both recognized that Michael was such a special little kid, so filled with empathy. And that's one of the reasons you went up and you went up for Christmas and
Monkey's Miracle.
You gave away.
Oh my God. That's why you went up for Christmas. Do you spend Christmas with your own son, Lauren? We would like to know.
Presents for Monkey's Miracle because that's what Monkey wanted. Monkey had expressed to his mother that all he wanted was to make other kids happy.
He liked giving gifts to
He
people.
liked giving gifts and to bring them joy. And to see how this little boy's life ended is just so despicable and indescribable and heartless.
Yeah.
I read this and it was just, I was so angry. I was so
Robbie,
angry.
I'm sorry you're going through all that.
So it was very disturbing to read this and revisit this. The supposed motive for this alleged murder turns out to be financial.
Mm-hmm.
So in the probable cause, for those who missed this, I'm sure most people picked up on this, but here's the motive. It's one sentence. Quote, Stacy stated that the idea to take a child to sell for money was Adrian's, and they would get a $10,000 cut. So presumably, at least according to this statement, this sentence, presumably the reason why Michael was abducted was because they believed, and by the way, he talks about this in my interview, he says that there was some talk around Adrian being involved in human trafficking, so that would make sense.
She never follows what he's saying.
Whether that's real or not, it doesn't matter for our purposes. The fact that Stacy believed that Adrian somehow had connections to human trafficking and could sell a child for $10,000, that was what appealed to him. And so in my interview, one of the things I asked about
Okay, spit it
when I
out.
started talking about the crime
Spit it out, Toupee.
was how he met Brandon Shirtliff and how he met
Toupee Jay.
Adrian. And it turns
She's
out
reading chat for sure.
that according to Stacy,
Lauren, you look so
met
pretty.
Brandon through he was working. Brandon was working for a moving company in 2020. He was having a hard time financially, and Stacy and Sarah wanted to help him out. So he was working for a movie company. He spent a night or two at their home. He complained about having a hard time, and they invited him to live there, contingent upon paying some
Thanks,
rent.
Cheyenne.
Adrian, he was, according to Stacy, they had a business. He called it a taxi business, but I presume he meant like Uber or Lyft or some type of ride share, I assume.
I believe so, yes.
So they met Adrian through, he called it a taxi ride, but I presume he meant Uber.
Right.
That Adrian was homeless and needed a place to live. So Stacy said that he believed that Sarah had an affair with Adrian, and that's when they kicked him out in August. But prior to that, it was the same circumstance. They both felt sorry for Adrian. They felt sorry for Brandon. They invited him into their home, and that's
What
why
are you
they lived
reading?
there.
What
So
are you reading,
what does
dude?
all of this, what does any of that have to do with this case?
Oh my God.
Obviously, they're all accomplices. There's the two have been charged with murder. Two clearly were co-conspirators. They were all there. According to cell phone data, they were all there on the evening of the abduction and murder. So all four had some knowledge of this, presumably.
What if you could give a gift that brings your favorite
Oh
holiday
my
traditions
God.
back to life every single day? That's what Aura Frames does so beautifully. I've been going through old holiday photos, matching pajamas, chaotic kitchen moments, the people we love crowded into one frame and loading them into our Aura frame. It's amazing
Are you
how quickly
kidding
those
me
memories
right
feel
now?
alive again. And the best part, if you're gifting it,
Grayson, what is up with this editing, girl? What are you doing?
amazing
Grayson, what the fuck you doing here?
how quickly those memories feel alive again. And the best part, if you're gifting an Aura this season, you can preload it with photos and even a personalized message. So it arrives thoughtful and meaningful right out of the box. Aura Frames gives you a price tag. .com and get promo code HIDDEN. That's AURAFrames.com promo.
But what is it they all share in common? They're all somewhat destitute. They're all struggling financially.
Grayson.
Right.
That Brandon is pretty much homeless. Adrian's pretty much homeless. Stacy and Sarah are living at Sarah's mother's home. I don't know if they had to pay rent, but they're all struggling financially. That's what they all have in common. So this idea, this makes sense, right, from the probable cause. This idea that they could sell a child for money,
Oh my
for
God.
$10,000.
You already said this.
It fits the context. It fits the situation.
Shut
They take
up.
in these homeless grifters, one presumably with some ties to human trafficking. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything about Adrian's history, but they take in these two grifters.
Grifters. What are you two? What are you two? You're caw. You're tragedy vultures. Caw.
These people that are sort of struggling in every way, it seems. They're fairly
Oh.
low-functioning human beings.
How about the people that are struggling that lost their fucking homes? Walwyn.
And they apparently hatched this plan to abduct a child to sell for money.
God, how many times are you going to say
So
this?
that's consistent, by the way, with what Stacy told me.
Yeah.
That he indicated that Brandon and Adrian both struggled, and that Adrian had some history of human trafficking. That would fit this scenario. So I think it's important to frame this discussion with that, and to say that on the surface appears to be a fairly straightforward motive. So I think that's interesting.
She said low functioning, or he said low functioning. Lauren called them low IQ. They're both snooty as fuck. They think they're better than everyone. I'm telling you. I honestly, I almost can't stand him more than I can't stand her. I've never liked him. From the first moment I saw him, I got weird fucking vibes.
In the interview,
God,
there's also another interesting moment in this interview. There's a few I want to point out, but there's another moment, and this is my interview I'm talking about here, that, by the way, we're releasing it publicly for the first time. We had it in Patreon because
why?
at the time of the interview, certain people requested that we try to perform this interview to get information that could help with the investigation, and they asked us.
Oh, certain people asked you to help with the investigation? Who the fuck are you? And why should you be helping with the investigation? This is fucked up. Excuse my French. Who? Certain people.
That we try to perform this interview to get information that could help with the investigation, and they asked us to keep it private.
Correct.
So we honored that request. That's why it was private. And now that there's a probable cause and an arrest for murder, we feel like we can release this publicly for the first time. So that's why we're doing it.
Well, and yes, it was in the last episode. Anyone that wants to hear the Dr. John interview, Stacy, that's in our previous episode.
In the interview with Stacy that I conducted, he says he left the house at 6:15 p.m. and he says, "I noticed a kid playing down the road, but it wasn't Michael." He said he thought the boy was 8 to 9 years old. He thought he was playing in his own yard. He said he was standing in the yard by himself. And then he said they left town at 6:45. So we know from the timeline in the probable cause statement that Michael leaves the home somewhere between 6:15 and 6:30, and he's not really seen again after 6:45 to 6:50. So going back and looking at the actual timeline and looking at my interview, it's actually somewhat chilling that he gives me an accounting. I believe that he gives me an accounting of what happened here, which is this kid that supposedly wasn't Michael, I believe was Michael.
Oh, you are so fucking profound. Really? Really? You think that? Wow. This guy's got it all fucking figured out, y'all. And all he had to do was go to fucking Princeton to figure it out. The boy that Stacy said he saw a kid? I really think it was Michael. Really? Fucking profound.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Oh, and she agrees. Oh my God, they're so smart, guys. They are so above us. They are smarter than everybody else because we're all low IQ. We're low IQ. They're high IQ. Look at them. The demon's coming out. The demon's coming. I can't even take these guys seriously.
It wasn't Michael, I believe was Michael.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So the timeline is absolutely consistent with the probable cause. It's consistent with when Michael left the house. So is it just chance that Stacy Wonder leaves the home at 6:15 and then pulls over to put steering fluid in his car? Supposedly put steering fluid in his car. And
It's not the steering wheel. No, not that. God, this is so profound. You know, you interviewed a guy and you know so much more than we do.
all of a sudden he sees a child.
Are you going to spit? Are you going to throw down your glasses? Did Stacy cut you off? Did he cut you off?
Who happens to be 8 or 9. He sees a child down the road in a yard.
Well, he said a little bit older. He said, right. He said 8 or 9. You're right. He did. That's how old he said.
So I asked him,
wow.
I said,
8 or 9.
how long does it take to put in steering fluid? He said 20 seconds or something like that. I said, well, no, I mean, by you getting out, opening the hood, how long is the whole process? 5 minutes. So they stop, leave the house at 6:15, roughly 6:20, they put in the steering fluid. So what happens during the rest of what about
happens,
unaccounted
John?
for 20, 25 minutes?
Tell us, Lauren, what happens?
Right.
Right? Are you listening? What do you mean, right? That was awkward. What about the unaccounted for 20, 25 minutes?
Right.
Right. I'm not fucking listening to you. I'm reading the chat and watching all the hidden gems. Tell me how pretty I am. Fuck you. Just keep talking, motherfucker. Just keep fucking talking so I can read the hidden gems. Tell me how beautiful I look.
According to his confession,
In the probable cause.
right, according to his confession in the probable cause, he says that Michael was already in a duffel bag in the back of the truck. However, since Michael, that would
hidden
imply
gems?
that Michael would have been at the house already.
Okay, John. Yep. Are you following, Lauren?
That doesn't necessarily add up, but so it seems to me more likely that they stop for the steering fluid. They notice Michael playing down the road. They abduct him. They put him in the duffel bag. And then they head back I don't know if they went back to the home. It's not clear what happens after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not entirely clear what happens after that.
Can I just read some more of these comments that tell me how fucking pretty I am? How good my skin looks? All this money I spent on my face. I just want the compliments. Just keep fucking talking.
By some accounts, according to Stacy, they headed up to Kuna, Idaho, but that's not entirely consistent with the cell phone data. It's a little confusing.
And by the way, being an Idahoan, I haven't been correcting you, but I was once Idahoan. It's Kuna.
Kuna?
Anyway.
Okay. So that was another.
Oh, and it's Kuna.
Oh, she fucking corrected me. She fucking corrected me on my pronunciation.
By the way, being an Idahoan, I haven't been correcting you, but I was once Idahoan. It's Kuna.
Kuna?
Anyway.
What a little bitch. She had to get a little dig in. She liked digging on that. Oh, by the way, I haven't been correcting you, but I'm about to correct your fucking dumb fat ass right now. I'm from Idaho and it's Kuna.
Being an Idahoan, I haven't been correcting you, but I was once Idahoan. It's Kuna.
Cute.
Anyway.
Okay. So that was another interesting moment.
Oh, he didn't like that. He didn't like that one. Hold on, let me put that on regular speed because we're sped up just a little bit. Watch this. I like this. I like these little snark. The HTC snark. I think there's definitely trouble in paradise. This is Dysfunction Junction, coconuts.
Being an Idahoan, I haven't been correcting you, but I was once Idahoan. It's Kuna.
Cute.
Anyway.
Okay.
He did not think that was funny. Watch him. He's like, fuck you, bitch. When he gets upset, he does more tongue action too. No, watch this.
And by the way, being an Idahoan, I haven't been correcting you, but I was once Idahoan. It's Kuna.
Cute.
Anyway.
Okay.
Smile goes away
So that
real
was
fast.
another interesting moment. I think that if Michael leaves the home
See, I can't listen to them in real time. They are too fucking slow.
his home roughly at 6:15, it seems virtually impossible that he could have been in the Wondra home prior to that, I think. So I think it's possible here that Stacy is essentially, in the interview I did, he's essentially telling me when the abduction occurred, how it occurred, and based on what he told the detectives, it seems like this duffel bag is an important component of the abduction.
Yeah. As far as the timeline goes, I want to know what you say, Sue. We have that, according to the probable cause, Detective Juanita Kelleher of the Fruitland Police Department, Michael was last seen between 6:15 and 6:30, knocking on neighbors' doors. By 6:45, his father, Tyler, realized Michael wasn't in the house. By 7:21, he called 911. I just want
Right.
Oh, just
The
interjecting.
piece I was trying to figure out is when did they actually take off?
Look at his hair. Wait.
Right.
When did they?
Wow. I don't know what the fuck he's done to his toupee, guys.
When did they
But
actually
why
take?
is it doing that? Hold on. Hold the phone. Look at this toupee. You can fully tell that is a. Did he color it? Did he put a little strawberry blonde in there? Like, what's going on? Is that a ping pong? You guys are freaking going straight to HE double hockey sticks for these comments.
Take off
Right.
for Kuna, right? And I think I wrote it down
Kuna.
somewhere. I think it was a little bit later. It was
He still said Kuna. She's like, fuck you. He deliberately said Kuna. I'm an Idahoan. It's Kuna.
for Kuna, right? And I think I wrote it down somewhere.
Look
I
at
think
her
it was
face.
a little bit later. It was not.
You
It was
fat
like
prick.
1908 hours. So 708.
Kuna
Okay.
Matata.
So
Yeah.
between 6:15 and 708, what happens exactly?
Right.
So there's definitely a gap in time between when they see this child playing down the road and when they leave. They don't pull over, supposedly put in the power steering fluid, and then take off immediately. They're
It's a
clearly
hair
they're
system.
doing other things
Brad
in
Pitt.
that time frame.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there, another part of the interview I did
Fucking
that I didn't pick up on at all because I didn't know anything.
I can't, you guys, I can't take this motherfucker serious no more. We have reached a point where I can no longer take their information as serious. Okay, so we have reached a point in the hidden true crime sector in my channel where I can't even take him seriously. Like, I can't even review this and go, oh, yeah, like Stacy said this, Stacy said that. I just can't. It's all just a big joke to me.
So a lot of this information, by the way,
Tara?
a lot of this information was obviously kept from the public. There were certain people, I presume, that Brandy knew about it, and Tyler probably knew about
Oh.
it, but we did not. Even though we were.
Stop with these pictures of victims looking so distraught. What's he looking at? Is Grayson over there? Grayson's over there making sexy faces, blowing kisses. Look, he's like, oh, I can't look over there.
Encouraged to help in certain ways. We didn't know
Hey, Mo.
details. So one of the details now that I think is particularly interesting for my interview that I just completely didn't understand when I was doing the interview has to do with the duffel bag.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. He brought up a duffel bag in your interview with him.
A duffel bag.
Take a listen.
Oh my God. And you know what? She's going to say, I caught on to the duffel bag. Look at her. Yeah, let's talk about that duffel bag. Fucking weirdo. Looks like she just got done making out. Her lips are all raw.
Didn't understand when I was doing the interview has to do with the duffel bag.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. He brought up a duffel bag in your interview with him. Take a listen.
Got everything ready. Brandon, got all of his clothes ready, and because he had a bunch of clothes, dirty clothes. And so he got his clothes ready, put them in his duffel bag, and went through the garage and up through the tow strap in the back of the truck.
Keezy, I almost spit out my
and
pop.
then we took off.
So this is really fascinating to me because this duffel bag is going to play a big
Fascinating,
role
huh?
in this crime. He says, and I'm gonna quote it again here to reiterate the importance of this. He tells me in the interview, quote, Brandon got his clothes ready and put them in a duffel bag. Which, if they're heading up to Kuna, I'm never gonna get that right. So let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho. I was the one that was in Idaho.
Oh my God. Did you see his tongue?
So let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho. I was the one that was an Idaho reporter.
Whoa. Okay, so we're back on Kunta. Let's just say Kunta. Kuntress. Kunta. She's picking at his ass. Look at her. If she had lasers, they would burn right through that motherfucker.
Kuna. Up to Kuna.
You can't make this shit up.
Up to Kuna. Okay, I'm never going to get that right. So let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho.
Yeah, I'm never going to get that right. So, bitch, stop fucking correcting me and embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me in front of Grayson. You're embarrassing me in front of Grayson, Warren. Knock it the fuck off. Peter Griffin.
Yeah, I'm never going to get that right. So let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho. I was the one that was in Idaho.
Oh, shit. I was the one that was in Idaho. You were never in Idaho, motherfucker. I was in Idaho. I have the Idaho connections, not you, Mr. Lizard Tongue.
Right, so let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho. I was the one that was an Idaho reporter. So it's okay. Just go back.
What is this? Watch him. I'm sorry, but this is funny. Let me slow it down a little bit. Okay, watch him when he leans back. Just watch his mannerisms. He's totes looking at Grayson. He's totally looking at Grayson.
Kuna? Okay, I'm never going to get that right. So let's just.
That's okay. You can stick to Kuna, and we'll know that you never lived in Idaho. I was the one that was an Idaho reporter. So it's okay. Just go back to Kuna.
If you're telling this story about the timeline and the day of the murder, the alleged murder.
Oh my God.
Here's what's really critical about this. There's really no reason to tell me about Brandon getting his clothes and putting them in a duffel bag. That's irrelevant to this story. If the story is going to get his car up in Idaho and to bring it back, it doesn't matter whether Brandon has his clothes ready and he has them in a duffel bag.
Oops.
Doesn't matter.
But it does matter. It does matter if that's a salient part of the story that sticks out in your memory.
Correct.
So in other words, why is he telling me about the duffel bag? Because to him, it's a significant factor in this crime.
Fuck.
To him, it's one of the most significant elements. It's one of the most salient elements in his memory on that day. And so there's absolutely no reason for him to say that Brandon got his clothes and put him in a duffel bag unless something else is going on.
Oh my God,
this is a way
John.
for him to try to reconstruct those events to make sense of the duffel bag that we now know has a body.
Fuck.
So he's retelling the story in an attempt to reconstruct the crime in a way that makes sense to him so that he doesn't feel guilt.
Right.
But what's really interesting,
you know what I think they
he
do?
throws it out there for me. Like when he told me, I'm like,
you know what I think they do? I think they throw a conversation they had with Stacy in ChatGPT and it breaks it down and he reads the breakdown. This guy has no clue what he's fucking talking about. He's just reiterating what we already know. This guy knows no more than what we've already seen and discussed. This is just a bunch of word salad.
But what's really interesting is that he throws it out there for me. Like when he told me, I'm like, I thought, okay, that's interesting, but like I don't really care about Brandon's clothes in a duffel bag. Why is that relevant? Right?
God.
Well, it's relevant.
Everything's
because Stacey
relevant.
Wondra is trying to tell the story with the most important element in that story in such a way that he brings that in, but also minimizes it.
Correct.
He says later on in the interview, again, he keeps going back to this duffel bag. He says,
fuck,
when they
shut
arrived at
up.
Brandon's mother's home, Brandon, quote, washed his laundry at his mom's house. And again, here we are back to the duffel bag.
Oh my God.
Like,
wow.
Okay. Like Brandon's.
You are so profound.
I don't know. Brandon's like attachment to laundry and clothes and his duffel bag. Like none of that is really relevant to the story or to anything I'm asking him. And yet here it comes up again. And then, you ready for this? And then here's what he says. He, quote, Brandon, quote, went back.
You think you fucking solved it? Do you guys think you solved the case because of this conversation about a duffel bag? Oh my God.
Back the following day so he could dry his clothes.
Oh my God.
Okay. I didn't ask about Brandon's clothes or drying his clothes, but here it is again.
The clothes in the duffel bag.
The clothes in the duffel bag.
Holy
Right.
fuck.
So
what's the key word here? Duffel bag? Today's word, kids, is duffel bag.
Listen to this again, and that's 3 times he's talked about this duffel bag.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's some guilt here. But here's what I want.
Oh my God.
Here's what I picked up on.
Clearly, there's some guilt here. Okay.
And again, this is not something that would be easy to prove in court, but for our analysis, I can say it because I'm speculating.
Thanks, Bronco.
If you substitute the word clothes or laundry,
substitute the word with what?
With monkey's body.
Oh.
I think you have.
Really? You had to really? If you substitute the clothes in the duffel bag with monkey's body, you figured out the case. Fuck you, Dr. fucking Joke John. Fuck you. Substitute the clothes with monkey's body. Really? Would you want Brandy to hear you talk like that? What the fuck? Why do they got to spell it out like this? Like they enjoy these details. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Tragedy fucking vultures. Fucker.
If you substitute the word clothes or laundry with monkey's body, I think you have a better sense of what happened. So let's go back to Brandon got his, quote, clothes ready and put them in Brandon got monkey's body ready and put it in a duffel bag. Brandon, quote, washed monkey's body at his mom's house, and he went back the following day so he could dry his body. By dry doesn't fit here. Let's say dry means hide.
Oh my God. I can't with this fucking idiot. You're an idiot, John. Thank you, Watts. For perspective, I was an adjunct professor at Temple University before I completed a master's degree. I was an adjunct professor for 2 undergrad courses. Thank you, Watts. Thanks for the super chat and the explanation. This guy's a fucking asshole. Oh, he went back to dry his clothes, but dry doesn't fit here. Let's say dry means hide. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to do here?
Body is his mom's house, and he went back the following day. Brandon, quote, washed Monkey's body as his mom's house.
Washed? Where is he getting this from? Brandon, quote, washed Monkey's body at his mom's house? What is he talking about? Look at her face. She's like, what are you talking about? But I can't interrupt you because you'll fucking jump my shit. What is he even? He's creating something that isn't true. It doesn't say that. That's not a quote. Listen to this again. He's a fucking moron.
What happened? So let's go back to his. Brandon got his, quote, clothes ready and put them in a duffel. Brandon got Monkey's body ready and put it in a duffel bag. Brandon, quote, washed Monkey's body as his mom's house, and he went back the following day so he could dry his body. By dry doesn't fit here.
None of it
Let's
fits.
say dry means hide.
None of it fits,
Prepare.
you fucking moron. So what he's doing here is Stacy described Brandon taking his clothes in a duffel bag to his mom's to wash them. And then he said he went back the next day to dry them and bring them home. He is literally looking at a probable cause affidavit, and he's inserting Monkey's body where Stacy talks about clothes. He's literally substituting the word clothes with Monkey's body, and the context doesn't fit. It doesn't fit, and he shouldn't be fucking reading like that. He shouldn't be reading a probable cause affidavit out of context. What is wrong with this guy? Who takes an official document as a fucking PhD who calls themselves a criminal psychologist and reads a probable cause affidavit out of context with their own words inserted, thinking that they're breaking down a statement? No, man, this is dangerous shit. He says, quote, listen to him. Look at Brandon, quote, washed Monkey's body. This guy is saying it as a quote, not like, oh, well, let's transcribe this to what it really could mean. He doesn't even know how to relay a breakdown. Fuck this guy. Fuck you, John. Fuck you, Lauren. How dare you?
In a duffel bag. Brandon, quote, washed Monkey's body as his mom's house, and he went back the following day so he could dry his body. By dry doesn't fit here. Let's say dry means hide, prepare, cover up, right?
Let's say.
I think the metaphor here is that clothes and laundry stand in for Monkey.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Stacy Wondra isn't going to say that. He's trying to deny his involvement in this murder, but I think now listening to it, it's really disturbing to see
You're
this emphasis on a
disturbing.
duffel bag, which I had no idea
Oh my God.
that Monkey's body was placed in a duffel bag
Oh
until I
my
read the probable
God.
cause the other day. And so
How would you know that? What do you mean you had no idea until the other day? No one did. This is crazy. This is crazy.
disturbing to see this emphasis on a duffel bag, which I had no idea that Monkey's body was placed in a duffel bag until I read the probable cause the other day. And so I think in a way, this is a bit or potentially an admission of guilt, or it shows some guilty conscience. And there's no reason for Stacy Wonder to emphasize this duffel bag other than the fact that he knows this duffel bag has a lot of emotional import and a lot of emotional meaning. And because of that, he can't leave it out of this story. He keeps coming back to it, and he's trying to reconstruct it in his memory to make sense to him so he feels less guilt. So I think of all the elements of that interview, this is the most unexpected one. On this issue of the duffel bag, I really want to compliment Lauren for picking up on this detail.
Oh my God, here we go. I told you she's going to say, I've been talking about that duffel bag for years, John. And I need to give Lauren a compliment. Look at this thumbnail. Duffel bag too small for a body. With Stacey Wundra's fat face and her with her surprised look. Interview with a killer. I gotta give Lauren some props. She's an amazing wife and mother. And she picked up on the duffel bag.
That I really missed because I was focused mainly on the timeline. So the next day, when Lauren interviewed Stacey live on our channel, she pushed him on this duffel bag issue. And what he said was actually quite chilling. He brought up the fact that he believed a body would not fit into that duffel bag. Let's take a listen.
Oh my God.
Watched him grab his duffel bag before we left. It was open, nothing in it, completely empty. And watched him put all of his dirty clothes inside the duffel bag and zip it up.
Okay.
And
So that night, the night that Monkey went missing, there was a duffel bag.
Mhm.
How big was it? How big was the duffel bag?
It was small. I mean, it was not a giant duffel bag. This duffel bag that had like a shoulder strap on it and like the two little handles that Velcro, you could put the Velcro around it to hold the handles together. It was a small duffel bag. I mean, it was not big enough to put a body in.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And do you know what, that didn't even cross my mind, but okay.
That moment is so important when he says it's too small for a body.
Oh God, that was Lauren picked up on that. Stacey said it was too small for a body. Anybody would have been like, bing bong. God, she's so smart though. Her IQ, so much higher than ours. JoJo's got Christmas bud. Nice.
Lauren didn't even ask him about a body, and yet he brings it up. It's almost like a confession.
Oh my God.
He says he watched Brandon put his dirty clothes in that bag, and he watched him zip it up. But if you realize that those dirty clothes are a fill-in for Monkey, in other words, when he says dirty clothes, he's referring to Monkey, you realize how horrendous this is. And he keeps talking about how small the bag is, how tight it must be.
So let's put Michael alive in a picture, happy, posing for a cute little picture while we talk about the duffel bag. Caw. This is a caw moment. This is what they do. It's inappropriate.
You get the idea that Monkey suffered a great deal and that these people watched as Monkey was stuffed into this duffel bag.
Emotions.
And,
using that baby and what he suffered and calling him Monkey while doing it. I really see through a lot of this coverage. I don't know if it's just like everything coming out about them makes me see it in such a different light, but man alive. Whew. The playing on emotions is the emotional grift of this. It's gross.
Ask our listeners to kind of weigh in on this because it's a really, this is, by the way, this is what criminals do.
This is what grifters do.
They'll use symbols and metaphors and images that are pertinent to a crime that they're trying to deny, and they'll inadvertently bring those into the story when they have no relevance to the story because they're kind of telling you in a subconscious way. They're telling you some of the components or elements of that crime that they can't tell you overtly or consciously.
Thanks, Watts. I appreciate that.
Stacey Wundra's doing it here. It also raises a question for me, by the way, about where Monkey's body is.
How many people
Yeah,
watched
are there any
this?
tells there?
I wonder.
Let's see. 21,345, and it was released a day ago. Are there any tells there, she says, about where his body is?
And again, I'm sure law enforcement has looked at this, but it makes me wonder if the story is that they returned Monkey's body to the home in Fruitland, to the Wonder home in Fruitland, and then they
buried him.
And then they supposedly buried him in the yard. But we know now, of course, that the body was never found in the yard. I wonder if, I don't know that this group is smart enough to pull this off, but I wonder if that was in some ways a misdirection maybe the body is up at Brandon's mother's home somewhere in that vicinity.
I wonder. I always just assumed they moved the body, but you're right. They did dig. I think they buried a stuffed animal that he had, but
no, that turned out to be supposedly that was the green dog toy.
Correct.
Where they found an ear from the toy supposedly they gave the toy to Monkey.
Right.
But I wonder if, again, taking the laundry as kind of a substitute for Monkey's body. I wonder if when he says we went back to.
Now we're back to the laundry substitute again.
We went back the following day, so he went back the following day so he could dry his clothes. I wonder if that's a way of saying he went back the following day so he could hide Monkey's body or dispose of it, right? Or something along those lines. I don't know. It's definitely something that occurred to me.
Do you know what even happened, John? Monkey was buried at some point in the backyard. Obviously, they went back the next day and got the fucking bag. Brought the fucking bag back to Fruitland from Cuna. Or as you say, Kuna. Kuna. Why are you talking about them? What are you even doing?
I mean, there's other possible interpretations. Obviously, Sarah was at the home. She could have moved it.
Well, Adrian or Brant.
Wait, you have them in Cuna, hiding it, but now you're saying Sarah moved it. You stop this. God, now that there's been charges, let the fucking case unfold. Maud, welcome in, girl.
I mean, Stacy did lead police at one point to where his body would be. I watched him in that body cam footage describe in detail, this is where you will find Michael. I do wonder, he gave them great deal on where the body was going. I do wonder if they moved the body while Stacy was in jail.
Oh, that's profound too. Considering that Stacy said he was buried in the backyard and they dug up the whole fucking backyard, Lauren. And there was no body in the backyard. So you wonder if they moved it while he was in jail? Do you think? See, these people want their audience to think that they figured this shit out. This video was yesterday, Robat.
Yeah, I think that's possible. But I also think...
You think it's possible? No, it's more than possible. It's probable. Idiots. Look at her. Ooh.
Moved the body while Stacy was in jail.
Yeah, I think that's possible. But I also think there's other possibilities in terms of if they did take the body up to Brandon's mother's home, perhaps it could be in that area. I don't know. I mean, hopefully one of these four will reveal the location of the body eventually. Although I probably wouldn't hold my breath. I think if they're convicted, there's maybe a greater chance of that.
Hold your breath, please. Oh, fuck. Really?
This show is sponsored by MIDI Health. If you're a woman over 35, you already know the truth. Maybe you've noticed your energy isn't what it used to be. Maybe your focus feels off or normal or stress is what I am in. A real energy changes and the busy lives we're trying to keep up with. Future issues, staying sharp, or simply feeling more like you. Again, through telehealth. Plus 24. Absolutely be shay at joinmidi.com. When you say that this is what criminals do, and you say that Stacy's denying his involvement, do you really think? Well, do you really think he's denying it, or do you to him? Well, he's clearly denying it. Do you think he's denying it to himself, like he's like, I'd have nothing to do with this. There's no way, or do you think that he's just trying? He knows that he did this, and he's trying to deny it to you. Like, for example, Lori Vallow seems to deny it to herself.
Oh, here we go. Lori Vallow. She just cannot help herself. She loves fucking Lori. Why has she always got Lori on the brain, weirdo? Listen, I have a really quick story as a little palate cleanser here. Speaking of Stephen Stern's parents, we will definitely review that because Miss Stearns, Miss Deborah Stearns, she doesn't like me. She don't like Jamer Justice. There's another channel that has showcased the Stearns in a more disturbing, exploitive, disgusting way. And also the creator went above and beyond to write to Stefan, thinking that they were going to get Jennifer Soto arrested and get some info from him because They think Jen Soto is more guilty than Stefan. These people are sick. But I wanted to show you something. Not just for Young Black, but for everybody, because it's kind of funny. There's a game on here, and some of you may not know about who Dolly Vision is, but Dolly Vision is a guy on here. He does a game called Turtle Island. I'm not going to go all into it, but it's kind of like an elimination game, blah, blah, blah. Well, me and the other creator who loves the Stearns were both on this island, and she called to vote me off. Miss Deborah Stearns, Stefan's mama. And I just want to play this little short for you guys. I think it'll be funny. Listen.
Dolly.
Hello. Is this Dolly?
Hey. Yes.
Hey. Sorry, but this is Deborah Stearns calling back.
Hey, Deborah Stearns.
I'd like another vote.
You can only vote once by phone. You can only vote once.
Oh, twat.
Yeah. Now you can super chat a vote, or you can get an egg, or you can buy a T-shirt and vote, but you can only get one phone call a night.
Shoot.
Okay.
I really want Jay for Justice gone. He's a twat too.
Okay. There's your free jab. You got an extra jab, and it didn't even cost you nothing. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get an egg next week. Okay.
All
I
right.
just need to figure it out. Got my cash app. I just don't know how to use it yet.
All right.
Old.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Ain't we all?
Thanks. Bye.
All right, bye. Dolly.
Yes, it's real. It's real. She called me a twat. She said, I really wanted to get Jay for Justice gone. She's a twat. You know what I did? I covered her son's case. Yes, it's her. It's really her. Listen.
Dolly.
Hello. Is this Dolly?
Hey. Yes.
Hey. Sorry, but this is Deborah Stearns calling back.
Hey, Deborah Stearns.
I'd like another vote.
You can only vote once by phone. You can only vote once.
Watch.
Oh, twat.
Yeah. Now you can super chat a vote, or you can get an egg, or you can buy a T-shirt and vote, but you can only get one phone call a night.
Shoot.
Okay.
I really want Jay for Justice gone. He's a twat too.
Okay. There's your free jab. You got an extra jab, and it didn't even cost you nothing. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get an egg. Next
She's
week,
like,
okay?
I'm getting an egg. She's like, I want that bitch gone. I'm like, you know what? If Stefan Stearns' parents, the parents of a pedo and murderer, don't like me, I'm doing okay. Cram it. PJ laughed. It was so funny. Anyways, little palate cleanser. Back to fucking John in the duffel bag. God, and Lori Vallow.
That he did this and he's trying to deny it to you. Like, for example, Lori Vallow seems to deny it to herself, you know?
I think we talked about this a few episodes ago, where I talked about this idea of what's called one of the psychological first principles for human beings, which is that almost every human being, so just to reiterate the argument, it is that human beings believe that we have what's called a true self. We believe that true self is often moral, and we adhere to this idea that human beings are good and reasonable people, no matter what. And that anytime there's a threat to being seen as a good person, we will resort to any defensive maneuver.
Are you speaking about yourself?
To try to dispel that threat.
Oh, is that what you two have been doing? Wow, they're talking about themselves here. Interesting. Hear that? We believe that true self is often moral, and we adhere to this idea that human beings are good and reasonable, no matter what. And that's what they know their audience thinks, right? Now listen to the next part.
And that anytime there's a threat to being seen as a good person, we will resort to any defensive maneuver to try to dispel that.
Yep. Bing bong. Any defensive maneuver. Bing bong. Hey, Kalina. Your name is so beautiful. Jeez. The leakage in this one. It's crazy.
Bing bong.
Threat. We will do whatever we can to maintain the perception, even among the most hardened criminals. This research is compelling, and there's a good deal of it. We will do whatever we have.
Did you see her head after she said hardened criminals? Watch. She's like, are you talking about my daddy?
The most hardened criminals. This research is compelling, and there's a good deal
You said criminals?
of it. We will do whatever we have to maintain the perception that we're good people. And in order to do that, obviously, we have to resort to like denial, minimization. We have to resort to a number of defense mechanisms to make that happen. So I think that Stacy fluctuates between moments when he knows he did it.
Oh my God.
He knows Sarah did it. He knows all these people were involved. He knows exactly what happened.
Huh?
I think he oscillates between that and between trying to defend.
She's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
I think he oscillates between that and between trying to defend himself and to maintain this belief that he's a good person and that he didn't do anything wrong. And in those moments, I think he's obviously engaging in certain defenses or utilizing certain defenses to try to make himself feel better. So
yeah, he does talk a lot about how wonderful he is and that he would never hurt anyone, let alone a child, and that he wishes the best for the Von Neal family.
He says, I asked him, what are some of your positive qualities? Here's what he said, quote, fun, caring, energetic, optimistic, loyal, and driven. Right? That's consistent with someone who sees themselves in the interview. If people listen to this interview, you'll see that he fundamentally sees himself as a very positive, upbeat person.
Yeah.
And yet that's not consistent.
Oh my God.
If you
Neither
pay
are
attention
you.
to the history that he gives me, it's not consistent with his history at all, right? I mean, let's go through some of his history quickly. He was in special ed his entire life and bullied and made fun of. He was called derogatory names throughout middle school, elementary and middle school.
That's so sad.
He was diagnosed, according to him. I'm not diagnosing here. According to him, he was diagnosed with FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome.
Are we making excuses? That's so sad. Really? I could give a fuck less if Stacy Wondra was fucking called names in middle school. I could give a rat's ass. That's so sad. He was called bad names. Fuck you. Sympathizers. Nasty. You nasty.
Names throughout middle school, elementary and middle school.
That's so sad.
He was diagnosed, according to him. I'm not diagnosing here. According to him, he was diagnosed with FAS, fetal alcohol syndrome, with autism, intermittent explosive disorder, bipolar disorder. He was taking all kinds of medications for supposedly as a child for those things.
Also a low IQ too, correct?
Well, his IQ, he starts off by saying his IQ.
She's like, don't forget that low IQ. Remember, everybody's got a lower IQ than us, John. Don't forget that low IQ.
IQ was 57, then 60, then 70, now 80. He's all over the map with his IQ. Okay. It's probably not reasonable to start with an IQ of 57 and then kick it up to 80.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't think that's
relevant.
I think his inconsistency there is really hard to make sense of. He tells us that he was very angry, although he was, according to him, although he was never violent, even though he said he fought back against bullies. He got into a number of fights with these bullies. He's saying that he never engaged in violence. That's a type of violence. He said he was really angry as a child. He often, quote, snapped by throwing toys, breaking things. He engaged in self-harming behaviors, including swallowing staples. He said, quote, I had a rough time as a kid. He describes being in his marriage to Sarah being toxic. At one point, according to him, he was held at gunpoint with a loaded shotgun in 2020, 2 years after their marriage. I mean, he described himself as a very needy kid with a lot of behavioral issues. He said that his stepmom, Tammy, often sacrificed everything for him at the expense of her own biological children. I mean, is any of that, so my question is any of that consistent with someone who describes themselves as, quote, fun, caring, energetic, optimistic, loyal, driven? And I think he says something like he's focused on goals or something. I didn't use the term goals, but
I've never seen them. I never watched them talk about Richard Allen in a sympathetic way. I just watched her like live streams from the court. I didn't really like get into their deep, long lives at night or whatever they did. I basically watched her like quick updates.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe people are complex, but not caring. Yeah. Not caring.
No, I agree, but I'm saying there's the question is whether any of that had an impact on this crime.
Yeah.
Whether it had an impact on his relationships, whether it had an impact on the fact that he's befriending these homeless drifters or grifters or whatever they are, Brandon and Adrian, these people on the cusp of
He doesn't
the
even know
community
what
and the
he's
cusp of
talking
society,
about.
right on the periphery of society. He's
Right.
befriending them.
Although he
And-
says he wants to help them, that they help people. So he wants to help them.
Right, but still.
That could be caring to him. I don't know,
No, I agree. I'm just saying that I agree that there's complexity here, but on the other hand, there's also a certain level of denial.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted him to talk about was, how did all of those wounds and all of that pain affect you? And he basically said it didn't. I asked him.
That's really gross.
So both his biological parents died from drug overdoses. His dad in 1991, before his birth in 1992, and his mother in 2003. I asked him if that affected him. He said, quote, "It never affected me." Even though he described one visit with his mother where she pushed him on the floor that he remembered.
Oh my God.
I guess what I'm saying is that you have this disconnect potentially between this difficult childhood and this perception of himself as this loving, kind, optimistic, energetic, driven person. And that's not to say he doesn't have some of those qualities. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. You think he even remotely has some of those qualities, John? Why are you defending this guy? It's so gross.
And I think there's a certain level of negation. There's a certain level of denial about this pain that he's experienced as a kid and how to deal with it. How do you integrate that? How do you go from that? And maybe, I don't know, I didn't really talk to him about this. Maybe he's been in a lot of therapy. He was in group homes for a lot of his life. But how do you integrate that type of childhood with who you are in such?
Who cares? Better question, John. Who fucking cares? We're talking about murder charges, right? We're talking about a guy who's going to go to trial for murder. He might even get the death penalty. And why is he... But how do you integrate that type of childhood?
But how do you integrate that type of childhood with who you are in such a way that you come out the other end saying that you're just a fun, caring, loving person?
Who cares?
Right? Maybe you are. But in order to get there, you're probably going to have to do some work. You're probably going to have to engage in a certain amount of introspection. You're probably, at the very least...
Introspection? You think all Stacey Wandra needs is a certain amount of introspection? Holy shit.
I would expect you to acknowledge some of that pain.
Right.
I would expect you to accept it and acknowledge and be able to talk about it. If you are this person you say you are, then show me. Tell me. Express that to me. Say, yeah, John, I went through this horrible childhood. It was so painful. It was so hard. I went through hell, but I worked it out. This is what I did. He doesn't say that. He says, it was no big deal. I outgrew it. I got over it. Okay. Maybe he did.
Right.
Maybe he did, but is that believable?
No.
Good guess,
Right.
Lauren.
Yeah, it was
Good guess.
listening to his childhood. It is very traumatic. To an average person, you're thinking, oh my gosh, like this is horrible. Or
Actually, what I thought was traumatic is what they fucking did to Michael. That's what I thought was horrible. Why don't you go give Stacy smooches, Lauren? If you love him so much, why don't you go give him kisses on the lips? Fuck. What is wrong with her? What is wrong with these people? Who gives a fuck?
orphan, foster care, adoption, group homes.
Okay.
All these
And?
different diagnoses, being a troubled kid, the
And?
bullying.
Being in group homes,
And?
being on all this medication, taking...
Goddamn, then he takes over. I'm not liking I don't like this tone at all. I don't like the way this is going at all. None of this matters. Holy crap.
Basically being ostracized in his adoptive family because he's taking all this time and attention away from Tammy's biological kids who probably resent him for it. He doesn't want to talk about that.
Wait, what?
I asked him,
Who's Tammy? Who the fuck is Tammy? Why are these people on a first name basis like this? I'm so confused right now.
Being on all this medication, taking, basically being ostracized in his adoptive family because he's taking all this time and attention away from Tammy's biological kids who probably resent him for it. He doesn't want to talk about that. I asked him about that. He shied away from talking about that. And how about this? I asked him about any traumas. You know what his response? Did you have any traumas? I mean, putting aside the fact that everything he's talked about is traumatic.
Right. This is a traumatic childhood.
Putting aside the fact that the bullying in and of itself is sufficient, is usually a sufficient trauma to push a lot towards over the edge, potentially, towards
This has nothing to do with that.
Towards substance abuse, whatever. Not towards murder, maybe towards murder in the right circumstances, but towards
the
unhealthy behaviors. Right?
The right circumstances? Oh my God, this is unreal.
Not towards murder, maybe towards murder in the right circumstances, but towards unhealthy behaviors, right? And
I'd call that the wrong circumstances, but okay.
He won't acknowledge that. So I asked him, did you experience any traumas? And he said, no, he didn't. He's basically, here's what he said. I'm good. No traumas. Oh, wait a minute, John. There is one thing. I was bull riding as a kid.
Oh my God. No. That's not how he brought it up to you. He brought it up to you like this. Oh, I couldn't have kids because because I couldn't perform. Oh no, not that it's because I couldn't perform. And he says, can you go a little more into detail about that? And he says, yeah, I was stupid and, a bull stepped on my left nut. He didn't say, oh, I have this one trauma, John, my nutsack. Oh my God, he's totally taking it out of context of how Stacy said it and the context that it was brought up in. This is weird. He wants to focus on Stacy's left nut. And you must ask yourselves why. He's sympathizing with someone who he wants to talk about his left nut. What man wants to talk about another guy's left nut? Let alone in this setting. What the fuck? Let's listen to that again. Because he's saying that Stacy said, oh, Dr. John, I don't have any traumas. Except one. My left nutsack. No, it was, did you want kids? Well, I did, but I can't have them. Because I don't have my left nutsack. But he wants to talk about it. Let's listen.
He's basically, here's what he said. I'm good. No traumas. Oh, wait a minute, John. There is one thing. I was bull riding as a kid. And it crushed one of my testicles. So I'm not fertile because of this. And it crushed one of my testicles.
This can't be happening. That is not even how he said it. She's like, tell me a little more about these testicles, John. Were they smushed? Tell me about the trauma.
I was bull riding as a kid. And it crushed one of my testicles. So I'm not fertile because of this accident. This occurred when he was 15 years old. So
Did he even call this a trauma, though? I think even that came up because he said
called out
he couldn't have kids, but Sarah could.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know. Right. I don't even think he referred to that as a trauma. It was sort of a side note.
I think he didn't exactly, but he tried. I think he kind of sort of tried to.
No, he didn't, John. He didn't sort of. Listen to this. Is this psychology? I think he sort of. See that? It's even in the caption. This is fucking professional. This is textbook psychology, folks. I think he kind of sort of tried to squeeze that trauma in there, but it wouldn't fit because his testicle was in the way. What? Look at him. Oh my God, these people are fucking, they're testicles. They are a couple of testicles.
But Sarah could.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't even know.
right.
I don't even think he referred to that as a trauma. It
He
was sort of
didn't.
a side
Well,
note.
I think he didn't exactly, but he tried. I think he kind of, sort of tried to squeeze it into the trauma category.
Squeeze? No pun intended, huh, John? Did he say squeeze? His fucking ball sack got squished, and he said squeezed. He didn't rodeo. He didn't rodeo. He said he was at a friend's ranch and got on a bull. He wasn't a rodeo guy.
Exactly, but he tried. I think he kind of, sort of tried to squeeze it into the trauma category. But here's my point on this.
You have a point.
For a 15-year-old to experience that,
I know,
and to maybe recognize the implications. I don't know if he knew the implications of that. That he was basically, to use his term, infertile.
Oh my God, I can't believe we're talking about Stacey Wondra's fucking testicles.
There's something really, for lack of a better, there's something really, I think, emasculating about that. And there's something really, I think, emasculating about that.
Oh my God.
And this I see this all the time, by the way, with murderers and serial killers, that they feel emasculated.
Oh my God, do you relate, motherfucker? God, he's serious as fucking cancer. He also sympathized with Koberger. He means what he's saying. Listen.
This I see this all the time, by the way, with murderers and serial killers, that they feel emasculated. That they have injuries like him, or they're impotent, they have ED, like they erectile dysfunction, like they can't.
Do you have this problem, John? Oh my God. He is like 62 or 63. Yikes. Oh my God. This is TMI. TMI. I should have called this live. TMI from HTC.
They associate a lot of their masculinity with this sexual component.
Talk.
Kind of this stereotype about the hyper masculine male that can have sex on demand, right? And like, he's 15.
Huh?
When this happens.
What the fuck? Sex on demand? What is this guy talking about? Why are we going to this fucking area?
Sexual component. Kind of this stereotype about the hyper masculine male that can have sex on demand, right? And
oh, I take it you've got a little trouble downstairs. Why is all of this always lead back to some kind of weird, inappropriate, uncomfortable sexual innuendo? Right, Hey Pines? Oh, I wonder if she's had an affair with a hyper-masculine male that can have sex on demand. Do you think? Is this another little snark? Do we have a snark moment? I wonder if there's going to be an affair that comes out. That she was sleeping with someone who could fuck on demand. Oh, release the text, please. Release the text. Release the text. I need to know. For all this hoopla, that's got to be good.
Stereotype about the hyper masculine male that can have sex on demand, right? And like, he's 15 when this happens. And he doesn't acknowledge that at all. He's just like, easy come, easy go, right? Like,
oh,
so you're helping.
What just happened? What the fuck just happened here? And she had to step in. Easy come, easy go. I'm feeling like I shouldn't even be listening to this any longer. Like, do you guys need to take this private? Put a 1 in chat if you feel like this got a little awkward just now. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Huh.
And he doesn't acknowledge that at all. He's just like, easy come, easy go, right? Like,
so you're helping me understand that it's not the trauma that creates criminal behavior, because that's something we're always talking about here. Like, how dare you say that?
What? Good save, Lauren. Not a lot of ones. You paused it when his tongue's always fucking out. I have a better chance of catching it when the tongue's out rather than in when I pause it. That's how much this motherfucker's tongue is sticking out.
Just because, I deal with this, you're equating it, and it's not the trauma that creates a bad behavior. It's maybe not acknowledging the trauma or facing the trauma. Is that?
I think she took a cue from
kind
chat.
of what you're saying. It's how one deals with it, acknowledges it. Is that what you're saying?
So there's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, I'm sorry, that I sometimes like to quote, who says,
Thank you.
This just keeps getting better. Thank you, Clips Audio, for the $5 super chat. He's calling her out. He knows she cheated. I think so too. I think they get their little jabs in. I like to call it the snark. Ranny, have a good rest of your day. I got a psychiatrist I like to quote, but I ain't quite sure what his degree is.
Acknowledges it? Is that what you're saying?
So there's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, I'm sorry, that I sometimes like to quote, who says, if you can't tell your story tells you.
That's the honest to God truth. Ooh, look at her. She's like, that's what's happened to me. If you can't tell your story tells you. Tonight
on Prime Crime.
This is unraveling before my eyes.
Right.
Either that or I smoked a really good joint today. I'm just kidding.
He can't tell his story. So given this inability to articulate this story and to understand the implications of it, and especially at an emotional level, then the story will tell you. These wounds and this pain and this suffering will typically, because you don't understand this and because you don't feel this and because you can't get control of this story, you will act out in a way that you probably won't understand.
Okay.
And so it's clear that he doesn't have the insight or the self-awareness or the knowledge or the emotional intelligence to tell this story in a way that's compelling or makes sense. The way he tells the story is, I went through these traumas, I went through this hard childhood, but I got over it. And I became a fun, caring, energetic, optimistic, loyal, driven human being in spite of all of this. Even though you go from A to C, but there's no B, right? There's no journey to get to C. You don't get to C without some insight or some work or some understanding or acceptance or awareness, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you go from A to C without that journey in the middle, then in many ways, you're at risk.
Yeah.
And it could be at risk for something as simple as substance abuse. I asked him about that. He denied it. But certainly one area where he has problems is in relationships. I think at the very least, you'd have to say that there's some attachment issues, almost certainly insecure attachment based on the fact that his mother wasn't there.
Wait.
Right. He was adopted at 17 months. So there were problems in those very early years.
Wait, hold on. Did he say what I think he just said? Hold on. Something as simple as substance abuse. And he says he denied it. I would say, Stacey Wandra telling you, John, that he's done meth would be substance issues. God, I'm sorry. I ran back in here to freaking say that.
And it could be at risk for something as simple as substance abuse. I asked him about that. He denied it. But certainly one area where he has problems is in relationships.
Oh, my God.
I think at the very least, you'd have to say that there's some attachment issues, almost certainly insecure attachment based on the fact that his mother wasn't there, right? He was adopted at 17 months. So there were problems in those very early years. I don't know how bad it was, but This is a child. This is a baby who probably never developed a secure attachment, almost certainly never developed a secure attachment to his mother. And because of that, he has struggles connecting. He has struggles dealing.
Oh, this just got personal. This just got personal to Lauren. Listen, a baby who probably never developed a secure attachment. Listen, I think he's speaking to her ass.
This is a child. This is a baby who probably never developed a secure attachment, almost certainly never developed a secure attachment to his mother. And
his mother. Why just his mother? Most certainly to his mother.
Never developed a secure attachment to his mother. And because of that, he has struggles connecting. He has struggles dealing with his emotions. He has struggles with self-awareness. It's all of that could be related to attachment, but it begins then. It begins in those early years. And again, there's no attempt really to figure that out.
Oh my God.
This time of year, routines start to unravel, the days get shorter, schedules get packed, and those good habits we built all year tend to slip. That's why I've been starting my mornings with AG1. AG1 is a foundational nutrition drink that helps me stay one scoop ahead of the chaos, to say the least.
One scoop ahead of the chaos. Lauren, even your commercials fucking are trolling you.
A foundational nutrition drink that helps me stay one scoop ahead of the chaos, to say the least. It's one simple habit that does support whole body health in a way that actually fits into real life, into my very busy real life. Each scoop of AG1 is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes that help support gut health, steady energy, and focus without the crash. I mix it up first thing in the morning, and it becomes this easy ritual that helps me start the day feeling grounded and ready no matter what's on my plate. And right now, when you start with AG1, you'll get a special offer. Head to drinkag1.com/hidden to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 and K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/hidden. Your free welcome kit and a daily habit that makes the rest of your day much easier.
So one interesting element of, and we're going to see this come up. So presumably we're going to cover this trial.
Oh, things just got a little uncomfortable again. Well, what are we doing here?
For making it happen.
What are we doing? Are we covering this trial together? Are you going to travel? Clips Audio, thank you for the $5 super chat again. As a man, John's not dumb. He knows she ain't shit. You think so? Thank you for your super chat. Wandering Nomad, Jay, what does it mean? Welcome to Cooterville. Close your legs. It is important for a woman your age. Is it important for a woman your age to say F for every word? I hope this doesn't backfire on you guys. This seems over the top. Let me answer your questions one by one. What does it mean? Welcome to Cooterville. Come close your legs. Well, you're not going to find out because you're rude AF, okay? So we only let cool people in, and they know why they have to close their legs. Second question. Is it important for a woman your age to say F every other word? I wouldn't call it important, but necessary at times, yes. Third one. I hope this doesn't backfire on you guys. This seems over the top. What seems over the top? Why are you so butthurt by this? Do you want to talk about Stacy's left nut too? We can go back to that part if you'd like.
Right.
He brings this up. So I questioned him towards the end of the interview. I questioned him about why would Sarah basically accuse you of murder? And that I knew a little bit back then. Obviously now I have the whole picture with this probable cause statement, but I knew enough to know that Sarah had pointed the finger at him and had said that he committed the murders. So here's what he said about Sarah. He said, quote, Sarah is completely psycho. She goes off on tangents. He says he believed that she was, quote, living in a demonic state of mind. So None of that, by the way, is saying that he didn't do it. He's just saying that
Right.
she's giving the wrong account.
Yeah.
But this is, so he's blaming her. This is where it gets interesting.
The hidden gems clutch their pearls when they hear the F word.
So I followed up a little more and I said, well, why would she say that? And then that's what he said. And then basically pointed out that he also acknowledged
Would it deed?
some involvement in the murders, or in the murder. Also pointed out that he acknowledged some involvement in the murder to detectives. And here's what he says. He says, with FAS, meaning fetal alcohol syndrome, when you get interrogated and there's pressure, quote, the automatic
fuck are
response
you
is to
quoting?
get someone off your back.
Yeah.
Who are
I
you?
remember that.
Who's he quoting?
He says when there's so much, he said there was so much pressure that
Stacey?
he was in tears, and he wanted to say I don't know anything, but he said some things that weren't true. What he's saying is that he gave a compliant false confession. So his argument is that because he was interrogated under a lot of pressure, that he lied to police and told them what they wanted to hear. That's called a compliant false confession. So that's the type of confession we typically think of when you have, a detective in a room screaming and shouting at someone and not letting them go to the bathroom and keeping them in a room for 15 hours straight, right? That's a confession that's coerced, and that's exactly what he's saying. That's what he told me, that he was coerced into making a false confession, and I believe that's going to be the basis of his defense, by the way. So I presume, I don't know, I presume that these confessions were recorded. And I believe that those recordings are going to be so important. Those recordings are going to be fundamental to this murder trial because I'm sure they're going to have to bring in experts arguing or
Experts. Is it gonna be you, Mr. Court Trial Expert? You think we need a welcome to Cooterville just as a refresher?
She says, welcome to Cooterville. Everybody close your legs. Everybody coming in, close your legs.
Close your legs. They're going to bring in experts. I thought you were like a trial expert on high profile cases. John, can we get a list of those cases or just maybe one of them that you were an expert witness in of high profile nature? Thanks. Love, Jay.
They're debating whether these confessions were coerced, whether they were appropriate, whether the police followed normal protocols, right? All of these things, I think, are now going to come into play because he essentially told us. So essentially, he's already telling us what the defense is going to be. I don't know if a defense attorney is going to have the resources to bring in all kinds of experts to get in.
Oh, do you want to be an expert for the... Look at it says snorts. Look at the captions. It says he snorts. Even fucking YouTube thinks this guy is like Doc Babe from the fucking movie Babe. Oink, oink.
Is going to have the resources to bring in all kinds of experts to get into this issue. I'm not sure what kind of resources the state is going to provide for his defense, right? Some of that could come into play because this could be a very expensive, time-consuming defense, by the way. My guess is that a defense attorney is probably initially going to try to cut a deal and try.
Oh, really? Are you a lawyer now? Now you're John Matthias Esquire. He thinks he's going to cut a deal. Look at this. This is irresponsible reporting. Lauren, you should know better. But you're daydreaming about fucking Officer McDreamy. Look at her. Why couldn't I just find a good looking doctor? Why did I have to find this fucking lump of lard? Look at her. If only I had a brain. Fuck, you could caption this look for days.
Be a very expensive, time-consuming defense, by the way.
Who cares?
My guess is that a defense attorney is probably initially going to try to cut a deal and try to get him to acknowledge guilt. But we'll see. I think if it does go to trial.
Acknowledge guilt? Look at, he knows exactly what's going to happen. Look at, if it does go to trial. What the fuck are you doing?
My guess is it's going to primarily revolve around this issue of his confessions and what those look like and whether he was coerced, why he made them, right? That type of thing. Because ultimately,
Wow.
the bulk of this probable cause statement is a confession or confession, series of confessions. And then you have this tricycle, which is an interesting component. You have the live scent canines.
The bobbles are here. Look.
That are pointing towards their home. So according to the probable cause, they stopped by 300 different homes, and they were only interested in one single home, which was the Wonders home. I mean, that you have components like that throughout the probable cause. I think some of those are interesting. I think if you put all those pieces together, it does become more compelling, but it's still circumstantial.
Sure.
So I do have some slight concerns about.
It's he went through all this for an hour to tell us that it's a circumstantial case.
The circumstantial nature of this case.
Oh my God. I
When
fucking can't.
You say he's indifferent.
She's only taking cues from chat because she's not listening. She's literally taking cues from her chat.
And cold. And I agree with you. Sorry, I'm going back, but I have questions that I haven't had answered. So
no, you don't have questions. You're reading the chat.
Okay.
You read that. I agree with you. The callousness, the indifference, the horrific nature of this crime that's laid out in the probable cause.
His hands, ew. Spit it out.
Why is he throwing up? I feel like he has no empathy whatsoever.
Wait, what? Now we're going to him throwing up. Look at John. He's like, have you listened to a fucking word I've said? What are you talking about? Throwing up.
Why is he throwing up? I feel like he has no empathy whatsoever. That's how much I see this. It's maddening to me. It's really upsetting me.
Oh my God. This is terrible. Total disconnect. Look at him. He's like, are you fucking serious right now? Are you fucking serious? Hold it together. Bitch, we've got about 30 minutes. Hold the shit together.
And I mean, that's so what it takes to be so callous. I can't fathom. What's that about? Is
Did you see that edit? Then they had to have an edit because look, he's pissed. Watch a Grayson edit coming up right here.
What it takes to be so callous, I can't fathom. What's that about? Is he throwing up because of what people are going to think of him? What he just realized he's capable of doing? Getting caught?
Yeah, well, he tells police he's throwing up because he says it's because of the stress of talking about Michael, and obviously let's take him at his word. So the stress of realizing or facing the reality of his involvement in a brutal murder, where any one of these four people could have stopped this.
That's what's so sick. Four adults. Like at one point, one of them could have been like, you know what?
Enough. Like
open the duffel bag. Just let him go.
Take.
Oh my God. Open the fucking duffel bag.
Enough. Like
open the duffel bag. Just let him go.
Take.
Unbelievable. Yes, this is pre-recorded for sure. 100%.
Take the child. When you're holding the duffel bag open, which is what apparently Adrian was doing, they were all according to the
probable cause.
According to the probable cause, they were all involved. According to this, according to
the probable cause.
According to the probable cause, they were all involved in placing him in either touching or placing him in the duffel bag. The duffel bag belonged to Brandon, who said, "I have a duffel bag." And then Sarah taped his mouth with duct tape.
Oh my God.
Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag.
Why the fuck is he reading this again? Oh, his blood pressure is up. Look at his face. He's the color of her sweater.
Open as they shoved Michael into the duffel bag. They're all involved. Why didn't Brandon say enough? Grab the child, run out the door.
Oh yeah,
and find help or take him home, right? What like?
No, I know. And then for Sarah's account and her probable cause account, she sees Monkey's mother outside crying later that night.
Oh my God!
And just
leave her alone.
Right. I mean, just the way they do this. And then let's assume that this is accurate to some degree. Placing Michael in this, duct taping him, stuffing him in the duffel bag. They can hear him screaming.
Good Lord above. I think he enjoys these gruesome details. Do you guys think he enjoys this shit? I couldn't even bear to read it more than once. What the freak is wrong with him?
They see him moving.
Oh
He's in the back of the truck.
Oh my God. This is too much.
And they don't even care. Like, as he said, they stopped once to supposedly do the steering fluid.
Oh my God.
They heard him screaming, but they didn't
Stop
care.
it.
They didn't do anything. They just kept driving.
Stop it.
And then they're on this trip that takes, what, an hour? I forget. They're on this trip. And they're indifferent. They're just like, okay, yeah, we got this little boy in the back in a duffel bag. He's kicking and screaming, and now he's not making any more noise. Like, okay.
Wow. This is professional. This makes me fucking sick.
So what? Like, it's... Which also, by the way, like... The other thing I thought of when I read this is this has, like, Fargo.
Huh?
This has Fargo undertones all over it. You remember the movie?
Fargo undertones? I've never seen Fargo, but I've heard of it. What's it about? Why does this have Fargo undertones, and why are we always going to movies and actors? Ugh. This guy's a joke.
Fargo. This has Fargo undertones all over it. You remember the movie Fargo?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how absurd? So this guy starts out with this plot to get money by basically having these two thugs kidnap his wife, right? And then he's gonna demand ransom because his wife's father, his father-in-law is wealthy, and he thinks he'll pay the ransom and it'll solve all his problems. So it's about money, right? And like, of course, the crime goes south quickly because the two criminals he hires are just, they're these bumbling.
What the fuck is he doing? Look how close he is to his mic. He's really into this one.
He hires are just, they're these bumbling idiots, and they, like, the whole thing gets botched, right? This feels like that in many ways.
Yeah.
This feels like that in the sense that also, if your goal is to get money, if your goal is to sell this child into trafficking, which would have been equally horrible, but if that's your goal, if you're trying to get money from this somehow, then you would presume they would be a little bit concerned about the health.
I know.
Of the child, right?
That's where I feel like that their plan was going south, and they then just didn't care, the indifference, rather than saying, I don't know. Yeah, rather than saying, hey, let's.
Right, there's this disconnect.
Let him go.
Fargo. That once it becomes. Right, there's this disconnect.
Let him go.
Fargo.
There's this disconnect, like what happened in Fargo. Can you imagine him testifying in court? Your Honor, this is like disconnect that happened in Fargo.
That once it becomes clear that the plan has problems or there's miscommunications and it starts going south, then all these people start getting killed. And here I feel like maybe it was never about money. I mean, I'm not sure either. Like,
I know.
Stacy's description of how close he is to children, I don't know. That raises some red flags. I mean, I'm not going to go far with that because
why?
That's a lot of speculation. But
what? Hold on. It's a lot of Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Stacy talked about his 21 nieces and nephews, that it was amazing that they would sleep with him at night. Okay. But he's not going to go into that because that's too much speculation. However, we'll just go ahead and replace clothing written in the probable cause affidavit with, quote, monkey's body, because that's not speculatory at all. This guy's got fucking issues. John, you need help. You need fucking help.
raises some red flags. I mean, I'm not going to go far with that because that's a lot of speculation. But
You have a man like Stacy Wandra telling you that his 21 nieces and nephews like sleeping with him because of his loving heart. It raised some red flags. To me, that's a huge red flag, motherfucker.
raises some red flags. I mean, I'm not going to go far with that because that's a lot of speculation. But like, what?
You wonder if it was ever about money.
Right.
But then when all of a sudden they had a child, they couldn't handle the child. They didn't know what to do with the child.
They didn't know what to do with the child. It seemed it was way above their pay grade, right? It was way above what they had planned for. They had no contingencies. Their only contingency they had was that the child couldn't be released because then they would go to jail or then they would go to prison for kidnapping, right? Like once this thing started going.
What did he say? Way above their pay grade?
South, nobody knew what to do. It was like Fargo in that sense that these people are just.
I know, it's despicable.
People are just.
I know, it's despicable. 4 grown adults. It really is sick. You know, when you picture, I mean, kidnapping cases are all so sick, but it's usually one person or one sick individual. 4 grown adults. And the indifference. It is so upsetting what the probable cause is saying happened.
Warren's eyebrow?
Despicable.
The indifference, the callousness, the infliction of pain on this child.
Oh my God.
The lack of empathy, the lack of remorse. And all of that, by the way, is even more peculiar because towards the end of the interview, I'm not going to go over all of this, but essentially he says... God. He starts making this argument that
spit it out. Look at her.
He says, I would literally hurt someone really bad if I found out they did something like that to a little boy. I want justice to be served. I want his family to be at peace. I cry nightly, hoping this boy comes home for his family. It's the most devastating thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm devastated. I hurt for this family. I mean, talk about a disconnect. This is the same guy stuffing a little child into a duffel bag and listening to him scream and doing nothing.
Why is he saying this again? How many times has he said this scenario, y'all? Jennifer McIntyre, this is scary, is it not? Again.
Allegedly stuffing a child, right? Allegedly.
Well, let me ask you. Then those were the things he said that people were leaving comments saying, you know, nearly 2 years ago. I believe him. But you're someone that assesses criminals, has assessed numerous criminals. What are your thoughts when someone says that? Does that mean innocence? I mean, does that?
No, my thoughts are I found it hard to believe. I mean, I didn't know the evidence. So,
Stop it.
It's
all right. You weren't assessing him. You were talking to him, but I'm talking about when you have assessed.
What the fuck is going on here? You weren't assessing him, but I'm talking about when you have assessed criminals. Why is this so confusing for him? This is what you do, John.
Criminals.
I still found it hard to believe. Yeah, no. I mean, this is if I had walked in there having all the evidence and knowing a lot more, obviously I could have gone deeper and done more with it. But
wow.
But if I had this probable cause and I was listening to him to say that stuff, then I would realize that's all a defense. That's all denial. That's all an attempt to ward off this threat to his perception of himself as being this really good, reasonable person. And again, that gets back to this idea of what Keith Payne calls the psychological first principle, which is that human beings want to perceive themselves as good, reasonable people, and they will do everything in their power to maintain that perspective of themselves and to sell that perspective to other people.
So was that part of it?
Is that what you've been doing? Selling this perspective to all the little hidden gems. God, you put like remember that show Mama's Family? Remember that wig that lady wore in Mama's Family? Put that on him and he would look like an old woman. God, he's just so unattractive. And I'm not trying to be a bitch by saying that, but that just everything about him, personality, the way he talks, the things he focuses on, his look, he's just all over unattractive.
The stress with confessing, though, we're talking about this, the throwing up was.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. There's obviously a part of him that knows the truth. That knows the reality. I mean,
right. It sounds like he tried to even, it sounds like he wrote a letter to Monkey's family and then attempted to self-harm after that.
Yeah, I'd like.
Quit calling him Monkey. Call him Michael.
To see that, right? That was a big question I had. So that was another interest. That was one of the most interesting parts of the probable cause. Stacy told his mother, so he told his adoptive mother, was his only mother, Tamara Johnson. He told his mother that Sarah had killed Michael by suffocation and buried him in a duffel bag. He wrote an apology letter.
Wait a minute. So he just named Tamara Johnson, but he called her Tammy earlier. Do these people have a closer relationship with all these weirdos than we know? I find it interesting that he just read her name as Tamara, but referred to her as Tammy earlier. Hey, Erica, good to see you this afternoon.
I had killed Michael by suffocation and buried him in a duffel bag. He wrote an apology letter to the parents, which would have been Brandy and Tyler, supposedly. I'm sure I presume that's going to be placed in evidence if there is a letter.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried to hang himself. Right. That's all an admission of guilt. That's all an admission of a guilty conscience. The throwing up would be indicative of that too. This realization indicative of that too. This realization.
This realization, Dr. fucking Dworkus.
Indicative of that too. This realization that he participated in, that he facilitated and participated in this horrible murder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's moments in every criminal, there's moments where every criminal is confronted with the brutal facts of their crimes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them will never acknowledge that. Many of them will deny it until they die.
Like Lauren.
It's the cliche about how there's not a single guilty person.
Like Lauren's dad denying that guilt until he dies? Still doing the same shit?
Prison, right? Every prisoner, every inmate and every violent inmate in prison is innocent, right? And by the way, the more time they spend in prison, oftentimes
crime,
the more solidified that perception becomes. That when they're around other prisoners in denial, that allows them to become more immersed in their own denial. And so, but that's not always true. There are moments like with Stacy here when some criminals feel compelled to confess, or a lot of criminals, given the right set of circumstances, they want to tell their story. Unless they have absolutely no conscience and no remorse, which many do, but for some of them that occasionally have a conscience and show some remorse periodically, they feel compelled to tell their story because they want to get that off their chests. They want some type of catharsis.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and it looks as if Sarah Wondra became very religious afterwards, according to the probable cause, both probable cause and Stacy actually discussed religion with you and with me. Actually, he really discussed religion in my interview with him, by the way, which I know you haven't revisited. He talked a lot about God. But that's part of that. Is that part of that sort of? Well, let me just ask you, what is that? We've also heard of other convicted criminals doing the same thing, becoming close to God.
What are they even talking about?
Shifting, becoming more religious.
With Sarah, I think it's a defense mechanism. It's her inability to deal with the reality of the situation, which is, again, the reality is that they are brutally murdering a helpless child, a helpless 5-year-old.
Yeah, she interviewed him the day after Jawn interviewed him. We haven't had time to review that one yet.
And, in a way that's in some ways creating maximum suffering and pain for this poor child, right? I don't know how long he struggled. I don't know how long Michael struggled. I mean, it's so hard to read.
Why do we need to know that? And why are you trying to determine that? Why is he trying to determine how long Michael struggled? You're a sick son of a bitch. You are sadistic. Maximum suffering and pain for this poor child. And then he wants to think about the length of time that it took. That's gross.
I mean, I don't know how long he struggled. I don't know how long Michael struggled. I mean, it's so hard to read. Any human being, I think, in theory, there's a natural human response to what are called the distress emotions: fear, pain, hurt. That human beings have a natural knee-jerk reaction to help other people in pain, other people that are hurting, other people that are afraid.
Yeah.
Those eyes look scary. Yeah. Oh, it's so hard to read. I read it 10 times in an hour and 20 minutes.
And when you don't have that, then something is not right. Something's abnormal.
Correct.
And clearly, at least in this moment, they didn't have it. Whether they have that at all, I don't know. That's a bigger question. Stacy seems to have some of it some of the time, but not here.
Right. I want to go back to something you said. While Stacy implies that the motive is money, you do think there could be other motives involved. You also brought up how much he likes children. You've brought up infertility. You've brought up some things. What if, could there be another motive? I guess is what I'm trying to say or ask.
Well, first of all, he doesn't imply that the motive is financial. He says it. He says it quite clearly that Adrian.
He talks to her like she's a fucking idiot too. He didn't imply. He said it.
Was the one who floated the idea of taking a child to sell for money. So Stacy suggests or states quite clearly that is their motive. Whether it is a different issue. One of the most interesting parts of the interview for me was when Stacy talked about how much he loved children. So some of the things he said to me, he said that he always wanted a child.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to talk about this because it was too whatever.
Not with Sarah, by the way, but he wanted a child, and then he had this accident which prevents him from having a child, supposedly. But he said, these are some of the things he said. He said, quote, he quote, adores children. He said he has 21 nieces and nephews. They all consider him to be, quote, a loving uncle. He often falls asleep with them in his arms. And, quote, he has, quote, a passion for kids in general, unquote. In general, how do you relate to children?
I absolutely adore children. I have nieces and nephews. I think I have like 21.
Say that again, 21 nieces and nephews? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah.
And tell
Didn't he say earlier, I'm not going to talk about this?
me about your relationships with them.
When I've hung out with them, they loved me, I've always been that loving uncle,
Gross.
They enjoyed hanging out with me and spending time with me, and they would fall asleep.
It's not
with me,
normal
and,
at all.
It was amazing, I have a passion for my family, and kids in general.
Okay. Yeah. When you say 21 nieces and nephews, I presume you're talking about
all together,
right? So Jerry's
between Jerry's kids mostly, yes.
Jerry's kids mostly, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry's kids would have been a little older, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
I agree, Soul. 100%.
So you do well with kids.
Very well.
Ugh.
What quality? What quality do you think you possess that allows you to be so close to children?
Honestly, just my heart. my
No.
compassion, I guess,
Pedo.
how caring I am, how interactive I am.
Okay. There's almost a sense in which that's over the top. There's almost a sense in which I think
There's almost a sense that it's over the top. Almost? Really?
First of all, that's not consistent, obviously, with the murder that happens here, clearly, right? Like, if he loved kids so much, then he would have protected Michael, and he didn't. There's almost a sense in which I had the feeling when he was talking about that it was the opposite. That in many ways, perhaps Michael becomes a proxy for all his anger and all his discontent and all his malice and all his problems
The fuck is
and dysfunctions
happening?
in childhood. It's
What?
not uncommon for some criminals to act out with children in violent ways
What
in
is
order to
happening?
assuage their own anger and their own difficult childhoods. In other words, the child, in this case, Michael, becomes a proxy for his own wounds and his own problems and his own suffering in childhood. So by murdering Michael, it's possible
This is uncomfortable.
that he's trying to, in fact, act out all the anger and dysfunction that he experienced as a child by projecting that onto Michael.
What is that quote? If you don't tell your story,
If you don't tell your story, the story tells you.
the story tells you.
Right. And I think this is someone, Stacy Wondra and Sarah Wondra too. These are people that seem to lack any capacity to tell their story or express their story in a healthy way.
Huh?
With any type of insight or emotional intelligence. With any type of insight or emotional intelligence or any cathartic elements, right? There's no journey here, right? There's no curiosity.
There's no journey or curiosity.
Right. Right. Definitely some things to think about.
I don't trust this guy at all.
But ultimately, I guess I'll be really curious if people listen to your probable cause, if you're reading of the probable cause statements, and then they listen to my interview. I'm sure people will pick up on some nuances that I missed. But this is sort of my interpretation and revisiting the interview. I think these are some things I'm concerned about. And bigger picture, one of the questions I always ask is, do I believe that someone like Stacy Wondra is capable of committing murder based on this interview and everything I know? I certainly think it's possible. I certainly think he has a background consistent with many of the felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed. That's not to say that I know definitively that he did.
This is where he's getting his judgment from. Listen again.
I certainly think it's possible. I certainly think he has a background consistent with many of the felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed. That's not to say
Felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed. Felons. Where do you work with felons? I want to know.
with many of the felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed.
And remember, he works with sexual offenders only in the prisons, allegedly. So we're talking about sexual offender felons.
Consistent with many of the felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed. That's not to say that I know definitively that he did it. I don't.
Where does he work, Gene? His resume should be able to tell where he worked, what high profile cases he allegedly, testified in as a expert witness. All of these things are self-proclaimed from him. So I think that if someone's legit, they should have a little more to back up what they say, other than self-made websites. And this guy makes the determination if they go back into society or not.
if this confession was not coerced and it's believable, then you certainly have to think that it seemed as if he was clearly involved in this horrible murder.
Director of a youth program. As if that's not a red flag, that's all you can find on this guy. Right? It's very concerning. Hey, Joel, good to see you. I don't trust his judgment in determining if a predator is going to be reoffending. He did, moderator. Let me rewind. I didn't catch that. Ugh.
Any of the felons that I've worked with over the years or that I've interviewed, that's not to say that I know definitively that he did it. I don't. But if this confession was not coerced, and
you can actually hear him bite his lip. I have headphones on. Right. Sexual offenders in a federal prison? Federal prison? Or state prisons? I don't know. This guy determines by his word that he makes a decision if they can be out in society. Look at his mouth. I'm going to throw up.
But if this confession was not coerced and it's believable, then you certainly have to think that it seemed as if he was clearly involved in this horrible murder.
No shit.
Well, again,
profound.
If any of these adults do care and what the probable cause alleges is truth, I hope that they tell Monkey's family where he is, because they still want to bring him home. So,
yeah, for sure. For sure. I hope somebody comes forward with that.
Yes.
This family has suffered so much.
You hope someone comes forward with that?
Okay. I hope they can find some peace, and hopefully they'll be able to get Monkey's body back at some point. And maybe these charges will lead to a change in heart among any of these 4 co-conspirators. I don't know.
I think that if they did do this, as law enforcement states, I'm not sure at this point, if nothing yet has brought them forward, I don't know what would. So
that's true.
Okay, but always groovy, you have to remember that he's not talking about just any felon. He works with sexual offenders in the felonious area. Whatever. It's just sexual offenders. It's not any other kind of felons. I think that his hands probably feel like, if you put like baby powder on your hand, I bet you if you touched his hand, it would feel like baby powder. Blech. Texas Ranger, how are you doing, my friend? Happy Thanksgiving, if I don't see you before then.
They're pretty immersed in denial, for sure.
Time will tell. Right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being with us tonight. I want to say it one more time, because that was a profound moment. If you don't tell your story tells you.
That's how they end it? Oh, shit.
There's research showing that revenge is an addictive that it's in many ways the desire.
This is 3 days ago. Look how different she looks. What? Hypnotizes lobsters. Yeah, that's from his website, right? He said he did group therapy with sex offenders and tried to get them back in the community.
Human beings have a natural need.
Whoopsies. Okay. Whew, that was tough to get through. I've got one more surprise for you guys, though. I don't know.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Hold on. Let my computer catch up here. All right, so I just want to say that was tough to get through. Thank you guys for sitting through it with me. I really, really appreciate you guys today. It was, too much. I hope I don't get sued. If you did join in the middle, though, we went over the RICO thing. We went over a letter from the lawyer of a person who received a C&D. And now I'm going to introduce you to Mocking Media. If you're not familiar with Mocking Media, you guys can go check them out. I'm sure a moderator will throw the link in the chat for you guys. But this is to give you guys a laugh on the way out. Thank you, Cassie, for being here. Oh, yes, he is. I know. Always groovy. I agree. I know. This was a great live. We went over a lot of stuff. But I do want to leave you guys with a laugh because this has been kind of heavy, you know, hearing about Michael and just their grossness in displaying what, you know, they did in this interview and just all of that. I think we need to laugh on the way out. So we're going to watch Mocking Media. This is called, actually, I'll give you their link right now. This is called Hidden True Crime, The Price of Half Truths. Cliff's Notes edition. Okay, you guys ready? Purple? Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody. We're back. I know the hashtag Free Peter is going around a little bit. So I want you all to see that Peter is right here beside me. Are you okay, Peter?
I'm fine. Thanks for letting me out of my cage in the garage so that I could be here with you.
That's enough, Peter. So anyway, we're back with another stream where I have more to say. Now, don't worry. It won't be 9 hours like the last one.
Holy shit, I hope not. I only have about 8 to 10 minutes left in me. I hope you don't plan on talking about everything again.
You're damn straight. I'm going to talk about everything.
Damn it.
If I'm done being
How about the sex on demand too?
Interrupted, I have a lot to talk about. And when I say I mean you, Peter.
Wait.
Why?
If I'm done being interrupted, I have a lot to talk about. And when I say I mean you, Peter.
Why do I have to talk? I was just getting ready to watch a movie.
Because I already talked for 9 hours and in my weakened condition and with all of my trauma, I need to go live again for our subscribers to show them how tough I am and how I most definitely have my shit together and I can turn this pain and suffering into cold hard cash.
Look, my Botox beauty, I'd love to talk about all that shit, but honestly, I just want to kick back and watch a movie.
Listen here,
She's
Sugar Daddy.
got her
You're going to
shit
talk about this shit
together.
philosophically and more psychologically. I want you to talk about the inner workings of the mind of a stalker. And I want you to talk about why people are giving me shit for my 9-hour stream. Got it?
Should I talk about your lies and the text messages?
Absolutely not. I need you to use all your psychobabble to confuse our sheeple. That's it.
I can do that. After all, I do have my GED.
Honey, I think what you meant to say was you have your PhD. And before I allow you to begin, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have been so supportive, especially those of you who purchased the highest tier of my Patreon so that I can make some cash from all of this persecution that has become my cross to bear as a seriously famous YouTube tragedy pimp.
Yeah, thanks everybody for all of the cash. It has really turned our frowns upside down.
That's enough.
Sorry, my queen. I guess I'll start my Dr. Pepper analysis in sort of an unexpected place.
What? What do you mean?
I thought it'd be great if I start by talking about Brad Pitt.
You're a moron.
Hear me out. So, the reason I want to talk about Brad Pitt is because he is an actor of my generation.
God, you're old.
Look, I followed him very closely and I appreciate him. I've watched him mature, develop, and grow. Sort of like your cheekbones.
What did you just say?
I said he's my inspiration.
You're such a fangirl. It's honestly disturbing.
Kind of like you dropping that suit so that it couldn't be filmed and your bullshit would have been exposed to your subscribers.
Excuse me? What in the flippity-doo-dah did you just say to me?
You heard me. Now shut your mouth and let me talk about Brad Pitt.
Look, Peter, I brought you here to use ethical persuasion techniques on my sheeple. Like reciprocity, foot in the door, and social proof, which leverage fundamental human desires and behaviors. That's it.
Screw that, babe. We need these idiots and their money. I'm going to use a little something called paltering on all of them.
What in the hell is paltering?
Well, it's the active use of truthful statements to convey a misleading impression. It's a distinct form of deception, to be honest. Although, paltering differs from lying by omission, which is the passive omission of relevant information, and lying by commission, which is the active use of false statements.
I don't know what any of that means.
Well, if you shut your mouth and let me talk about Brad Pitt, you'll find out.
Holy shit, I'm so confused.
And there it is. Me talking about Brad Pitt is working. You're obviously confused. Now, imagine how everyone else will feel listening to me on this nonsense.
Good God, you're right. Damn, I love you. Keep talking, babe. I want you to confuse all these simple chuckle fucks with your big words and stories of Brad Pitt.
So listen, I first fell in love with Brad Pitt when he played JD.
She said chuckle fucks. Keep talking, babe. I want you to confuse these simple chuckle.
Good God, you're right. Damn, I love you. Keep talking, babe. I want you to confuse all these simple chuckle fucks with your big words and stories of Brad Pitt.
So listen, I first fell in love with Brad Pitt when he played JD in the film Thelma and Louise. He's just like you, my love. He was a charming drifter who was romantically involved with Thelma just before he stole all of her life savings.
How in the hell does this help me? And how am I like JD?
Bye,
Are you
Belinda.
serious? You're JD, and that would make me Thelma. Try to keep up, dear.
I don't quite understand the reference.
Okay, look, how about when Brad Pitt played Louis in Interview with a Vampire?
What about it?
Well, he was a blood-sucking vampire who fed off of the innocent. I mean, he tried really hard to be nice, but at the end of the day, he could only gain off of the loss of others.
Are you suggesting that I'm a vampire just like who Brad Pitt played in that movie?
Goodness gracious, no. I'm saying you're like Claudia, the little girl vampire who was forever young, even though she was old as shit, and who of course fed off of the innocent and kept saying, I want some more.
You're on thin ice, mister. None of your Brad Pitt references are helping my case.
Well, what about when Brad Pitt was in that movie, Meet Joe Black?
I'm afraid to ask, but what about it?
Well, you see, in Meet Joe Black, Brad Pitt started off as a nice guy, then he got hit by a friggin' car, and boom, he turned into the devil.
How in the hell am I like Brad Pitt in this one?
Well, you're more like Drew, I guess. After all, Drew was doing some sneaky shit behind the scenes to Mr. Parrish, and then Brad Pitt set his ass up on speakerphone where the entire board of directors heard Drew's true evil intentions. I guess some people don't like when their true selves are exposed.
You're about this far from sleeping on the couch tonight.
Look, I've never done this shit before. I'm trying.
Try harder.
What about when Brad Pitt was in that one movie called Snatch?
Now, just how in the hell am I like him in that movie?
You're nothing like him in that one. I just wanted to say, Snatch.
I swear, you're like dealing with a child.
Wait a second, I got it. You're like Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Let me guess. I'm like Marla Singer, and I drift from support group to get attention for myself on issues that I don't really have.
Shit. I never thought of that one. I was going to say that you were like Edward Norton in that one.
And just how am I like Edward Norton in Fight Club?
Remember the part where Edward Norton beats the shit out of himself in his boss's office?
Watch it.
It's kind of like you pretending to get hurt by a stalker, yet nobody but you really saw what happened.
I'm seriously regretting having you up here to gaslight the gullible people that watch us. You suck at this psychobabble damage control.
What about when Brad Pitt was in the movie Seven?
You know, I can actually see this one. I would be like Morgan Freeman out there on the streets and solving crimes.
Actually, I was thinking that you're more like 5 out of the 7 deadly sins. Pride, greed, lust, envy, and at this very moment with your newest court filing, you're displaying wrath.
Unbelievable.
And here's a little fun fact for you. Brad Pitt was in Deadpool Part 2.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. He played the Vanisher.
Did he help Deadpool fight crime and bring justice to the criminals?
No, he was invisible, and after the movie, nobody remembered him.
And how in the hell does that relate to me?
Listen, Pumpkin, I just lay out the pieces. It's up to you to put it all together.
None of this is helping me.
Let me ask you this. Did you know that Brad Pitt was in a TV series called Tales from the Crypt?
No, but I'm sure that you're going to tell me all about it.
He played a character named Billy in Season 4, Episode 9.
And just how does this episode relate to me?
Well...
Hold on a second. My nose itches.
Jesus Christ.
Look, I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm human. When my nose itches, I scratch it. Now, how am I like Brad Pitt in that Tales from the Crypt episode?
Well, now that I've seen your hands, I'd say that you look more like the Crypt Keeper himself.
Aren't you supposed to be intelligent? That joke was pretty...
Wait, let's look at her hands.
Hold on a second. My nose itches.
Look at the hand. It's all right. Remember when we saw her hand that day and it was all wrinkled? Like, holy fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Look, I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm human. When my nose itches, I scratch it. Now, how am I like Brad Pitt in that Tales from the Crypt episode?
Well, now that I've seen your hands, I'd say that you look more like the Crypt Keeper himself.
Aren't you supposed to be intelligent? That joke was pretty lowbrow coming from you.
Well, actually, I was afraid to make a highbrow joke.
Now, why on earth would you be afraid to make a highbrow joke?
Have you looked in a mirror? If those brows get any higher, I'll have to name them Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
I swear, I need some golden plates and a seer stone to even begin to understand your humor.
Oh, yeah? Well, I swear that you've watched the movie Gone Girl way too many times.
Did you just say Gone Girl? I can't believe that you finally named a movie that didn't have Brad Pitt in it.
What if I told you that the director actually wanted Brad Pitt?
Oh, sure, and angels give golden plates to humans.
Fine. If you don't believe me, Google it.
Look, I'm the talent. I don't Google shit. That's a Grayson job.
Yeah, Google it, Grayson.
Okay, I'm shutting this dumpster fire down. To all of my uncut gems out there, head on over to my Patreon and give me cash, and I'll upload another video of me and Peter doing more damage control, more psychobabble, and more gaslighting. Peter, do you have anything else to say before we end this?
You're the devil.
Excuse me?
Google it.
Here's the link again to Mocking Media. They do a great job. They have a couple other ones too. If you want to go check them out, there is the link again. Woo-wee. Thank you guys for joining today. Let's scoot over and get in the Cooter DeVille and get on out of here and go enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon.
A Cooter DeVille. I think the devil drives a Cooter DeVille. I saw the dreadlocks over the hill. Not against her will. I got time to kill way down in Cootersville.
You know, it's like our credits sometimes work, sometimes don't. Let's try this again. I love our credits though, but why don't they work all the time? Damn it. Thank you for joining today. I appreciate you guys. If you could hit the like, let's get the likes up before we leave. It doesn't look like the credits are going to scan for me today, but thank you for all your support today. I really do appreciate you. All of your comments are life. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.